Hello, O weary travellers on this long and dusty road. This metaphor has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today, which is the spring 2025 season of anime that I watched with Fox Lee, who's right there!
Ah! He's found me!
Is the Fox Lee in the room right now?
She's not real and she can't hurt you.
Oh, that's not true. She can definitely hurt you.
Those are definitely both lies.
But yes, we watched a bunch of anime, and rather than me write nothing but articles on my blog about the seasonal anime I'm watching, I've come to really enjoy having these chats with you about them.
Yeah!
And for that reason, we are now going to delve into the spoiler warning. So, spoiler warning for...
This is a spoiler screen about the anime shows we have seen.
Spoiler warning for Apocalypse Hotel.
For Gundam Gquuuux.
Once Upon a Witch's Death.
Guilty Gear Strive Dual Rulers.
Your Forma.
And Food for the Soul.
Zatsu-Tabi. That's Journey.
Shoshimin Season 2.
Witch Watch Core 1.
Miru Paths to My Future.
And Shirley.
Vigilante, My Hero Academia Illegals.
Lazarus.
And Teogonia.
I think that's it. It is.
It is not.
Mono.
The Gorilla God's extremely boring go-to girl.
Catch Me at the Ballpark.
Windbreaker Season 2, but not really.
And Kowloon Generic Romance.
That one's gonna be so spoiler.
Yeah.
So spoiler.
Yeah, I normally don't worry too much about the spoiler warnings, but trust me, for this season, you just be careful. Don't go in not expecting to get spoiled, okay?
Yeah, that's the big one, and definitely Lazarus, and I guess Apocalypse Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
All of these are the kind of shows that could definitely just be full ruined for you, depending on how much you care about mysteries and the solutions thereof.
And if you care a lot about spoilers, you're wrong. But I'm not going to be the one to convince you of that.
Look, everyone can have their own relationship with spoilers. Ready!
You ready?
Ready?
Okay.
Ready!
The Gorilla God's go-to girl.
You put this one first, so I would get the hard read first. Gorilla no kami karakago sareta reijo wa oritsu kishidan de kawaii gareru. Sorry.
Fine. Just a real light novel ass title there.
It is a bit. It's got the title of a light novel. It's got the plot of an otome game.
It's got the budget of a commercial.
That's very well done. Thank you. That was the third line.
So, the Gorilla God's go-to girl, and by the way, that full title is literally, The Lady Blessed by the Gorilla God is adored by the Royal Knights.
Wow, just give away the entire plot, why don't you?
I know! Spoilers in the title.
That is the entire... That is what passes for a story here.
This is the anime of a web novel series written by someone called Shirley, about which I know very little. And it is listed as a fantasy and romantic comedy, which we will have to give it technically.
It's... Of those words, romantic is true.
Yeah.
Fantasy is... I mean... It is a fantasy, just not in any meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing the basic plot summary pitch kind of dealy?
I think that's totally okay to do, but also, we've got 20 shows to go through, so it's okay to skimp a little on the ones that aren't very good.
Well, I mean, this isn't going to take long. This is, I say that, and then I fumble all over the place.
How about I take over?
This is a fantasy story that isn't an isekai, but it might as well be, Because everyone in this world is blessed by a certain god, and our hero gets the best blessing, but they don't want it because it doesn't fit with their personality. But nevertheless, it's going to make them the strongest person in the world. Except it's not, because our hero's a girl, and you can't do a story about a girl like this without having her get just manhandled by a lot of gross-ass boys.
Yeah, so you've got your kind of classical high school, private school anime setup. It's a genre that everyone knows reasonably well. It's a private school. There's all sorts of silly rules about like hairstyles and uniform that are only arbitrarily enforced. And every character, ostensibly speaking, gets access to a card that gives them a blessing from a particular god, which gives them powers of varying degrees of obviousness or stupidity.
And it is, for the most part, an interesting set of animal gods. Like, it's not just Chinese zodiac over again.
Yeah.
It's like some weird shit, like moles turn up on there, there's a fucking squirrel in there. It's wild. It's not what I expected. It could have been interesting if anybody other than the three main guys had remembered they had these powers for any of the show.
Yeah, it's not a good... I do not think this is a very interesting story. I do not think that it does much that's interesting with its premise. And I do not like the ways it depicts men who are meant to be desirable.
I went into this really hoping that it would... Like, the whole point, surely, of giving your main character the powers of a gorilla. Like, not just cool guy super strength, but actually gorilla powers. Like,
gorilla.
Climbing up the side of walls and shit. And, you know, sometimes the gorilla, like, appears over her shoulder and is like, yes! To you know, when it approves of whatever she's doing, and it's like, I want to hit that guy, kind of. Like, I thought, for sure, the point of doing this is that you play with otome tropes, and you subvert them, because you have put a gorilla in your otome game.
Yeah.
But what the show is interested in doing is just using the gorilla as an excuse to force her into the situation that makes her meet the hot boys. And that's really it. After they've done that, they play every trope completely straight. Everyone who's not, like, particularly one of the three guys she's friends with is creepy and rapey. One of them is overtly rapey. But everyone's just a little bit like, oh, why shouldn't I just be able to touch women whenever I want?
Mm-hmm.
But we're supposed to find them all charming because they're all hot boys in military uniforms. And what suffices for a plot outside of the romance plot, which isn't even really a plot, it's just she immediately falls for a guy and he immediately falls for her, and a couple of other guys also like her, but they don't really make a go of it. And what passes for a plot otherwise is a really sort of half-assed attempt at like, oh hey, this whole blessing system has created a caste system that horribly abuses anyone who's not fortunate enough to get cool blessings. And maybe the monarchy is bad. But no, the monarchy can't be bad, because the only people who care about it and want to change it are the kind of people who would sexually assault girls and blow up children. So, yay, the monarchy, I guess. The climax of this is literally a bunch of superpowered military guys beating up peasants. It's so shit.
I think an additional problem for this series is introduced in the translation. Specifically the translation of the title.
Oh yeah?
The Japanese title is... I can't comment on how cumbersome or elegant it is. But what it describes is the lady who is blessed by the gorilla god and liked by royal knights. There's no action or agency implied there.
That really brings it to the fore, doesn't it?
It's not a good title, and I don't want to sit there criticizing it, because I'm about to criticize the translation. Because the translation is the gorilla god's go-to girl. That phrasing in English implies that the gorilla god is going to be asking her to do things because she's the girl the gorilla god would go to.
She can do those things.
For the half of an episode I imagined this anime might be any good, I thought that what was going to be happening is that you were going to have an elegant lady in a fancy Royal Knight situation who just wants to do an ordinary otome game, and the Gorilla God keeps showing up and saying, yes, but have you considered I need 10,000 mangoes? I really
that would have been quite different. It's like, you have to eat 10,000 mangoes because I don't exist physically, so being as you're my avatar now.
Yeah, and
eat more bananas.
And the promo shots and the trailer show the ghost of the gorilla in the background approving of things, which led me to believe that we were going to have a situation where this Gorilla God was going to be a character. Anyway.
Yeah, I was really hoping for that, and it wasn't. It wasn't. Everything was boring. Even the, like, knight characters who are supposed to be about combat, like, barely ever use their powers, and most of the powers don't make a lot of sense to, like, the animal that they're supposed to match with. The cat probably makes sense. He's got, like, sharp eyesight, and
he lands
we
on his
find
feet.
out in the last episode that he's good at landing on his feet.
Yeah.
The big villain reveal at the end is like, oh, the jaguar, the natural enemy of the gorilla, and then they have him do stuff like super speed and a supersonic roar, and he's just immune to her beating him up, which is like, cool. That's how jaguars work, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, they're immune to guns because they're too fast. They can slice the bullets out of the air. That's how jaguars do. So fucking stupid.
I'm trying to not be too judgmental about the source of a lot of modern adaptations, but web novels as a category seem to be a fantastic way to get a story that's about as good as the premise for a play-by-email role-playing group of teenagers around 1999.
I do feel a little bit bad bollocking it so hard because it probably was, like, it's quite likely it's written by an amateur. That's how a lot of web novels work, right? But, you know, I also wouldn't be bollocking it if it hadn't gotten a whole last season of anime someone paid to make, so.
I don't think you can say someone is an amateur if they've been published by a publishing house for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at a certain point.
Yeah. And I've had students talk to me about how the web novel business works. It does sound like an abusive practice environment, but that's the manga industry. That's how anime gets made. Where will we be if we cannot throw artists into the crusher?
Gotta have some talent to throw into the talent juicer.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not a good show. I wouldn't recommend watching it.
I wouldn't recommend watching it either. In fact, I'd recommend ditching it around episode 1. But for some reason...
I kept... This was I had faith in it longer than I should have. I kept wanting it to surprise me. I kept wanting it to live up to the idea I was hoping for in my head. And I should have realized it wasn't going to, but at about halfway through, I'm like, well, I have to see exactly how angry I need to be at this. Yeah. So I'm going to have to finish it at this point.
By the way,
I can finish talking about it if that would make you happy.
I'll just offer this final coda. The web novel finished in 2021. It has since been mangafied. Katakawa has printed 7 tankobon of this.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about dicking it anymore.
No. Next up we have...
Oh, this is the English title, Talen. Weren't you going to say it?
Teogonia.
You definitely front-loaded this with things that I should have had the sense to stop watching earlier, didn't you?
I randomized this list.
Oh, the hell you did.
I used an Excel spreadsheet. Well, no, I didn't. I used a Libre Calc spreadsheet, but no one knows what the fuck that is. So I say I use an Excel spreadsheet to randomize this. But that's... me drawing on paper can be a spreadsheet. Anyway.
Maybe you randomized it on paper. Maybe you wrote it all down and rolled a dice.
This is more interesting than Teogonia. No, okay. That's not fair.
So, Teogonia pulled me in.
If I may. Teogonia, it was a light novel series written by Tsukasa Tanimai, illustrated by Koichiro Kawano. It is also a user-generated novel publishing site, so it's actually the step down from web novel in 2017 and has been passed around by publishers since then. And it got published. The anime is by Asahi Productions, which is a name you don't recognize.
I don't. To be fair, I don't recognize the names of too many production studios. I'm not that far into the the industry side of it that I would know a bunch of names. I know the big ones. I know Science Saru and shit, but I don't know. I definitely don't have exhaustive knowledge or even probably extensive knowledge in this area.
Well, the reason I bring up Asahi Production is that overwhelmingly they do little kids shows like Hello Kitty, Bunny Drop. Not Bunny Drop. That
no, different thing.
Bunny Blue and Peachy Peachy Shizuki-chan kind of stuff. Like they are not a heavy hitter in the visual.
Possibly more importantly, very, very simple and cheap stuff.
Yeah. And Teogonia is ostensibly a dark fantasy isekai adventure story, and I will give it that on a technicality that it is technically an isekai, but it does a pretty good job of keeping its isekai cards close to its chest.
Yeah, look, this is why this drew me in, because it didn't immediately go, I'm a person who knows that they're isekai from another world, and I'm just an insufferably shitty real world person getting to fuck up a fantasy world for my pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
That, and the fact that it looks cool, and it isn't just like a bunch of extremely gacha game waifu looking people in stupid titty armor, and
absolutely.
I really wanted this to be the isekai that was like making good on the concept. We used to have plenty of good isekai. Before everything became level up fantasies, there were some really cool isekai shows.
This, in my mind, and to give you the plot summary, before I do that, this in my mind is like the best isekai of like 2003. Like this isn't gonna beat El Hazard or Escaflowne or any of the isekai I really love, but like this would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
In a less crowded period.
It's no 90s isekai.
Yeah, it's not one of the ones that defined the fucking genre. It's just a follow the leader one.
And like it's doing Mononoke fashion.
So what you have here is a show about a guy called Kai, who is from the village of Rag, which is under attack from monkey people and pig people who are known as macaques and ogres, and people are killing one another to get access to god seeds in their body. If you kill one of the other non-humans, you can take their god seed and they can take your god seed. You know, there's a cross-compatibility issue. It comes up, believe it or not. And essentially, there is a current system in the world where people of privileged classes have access to lots of god seed and they get to be superpowered, and normal people don't and have to live on scraps as serfs. And our main character, shock and surprise, gets a god seed and also has maybe some latent memories of his pre-death life in Japan, and therefore some modern ideas that allow him to do more with the god seeds and become a bit more powerful. I'm offering a simplified version of the story.
You can really tell how little of a fuck Talen gave about this because all of the names for things he used just came from the Wikipedia page rather than the version of the show that we watched.
Yeah.
Like, all of those names except for Kai were different.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know why they named something different in the anime. Like I wouldn't.
Well, like different translations. Like, they didn't call them ogres; they called them orgs in this translation. They didn't call it Rag Village; they called it Lag Village. Just things that are perfectly understandable. But it's just funny that it was like, Talen did not give a fuck about this.
Not a flying fuck.
And I can't blame you. It's better than your average isekai these days, but that is deliberately damning with faint praise.
Yeah.
I guess it didn't disappoint me quite as much as Gorilla Girl, but that is also to damn it with faint praise.
It has... Look, isekai is a vast and wide buffet. You will find something you like if there's stuff you like in this space. If you like isekai at all, there's almost certainly going to be an isekai out there that's perfect for you. You should definitely give Teogonia a look, because in amongst the existing slop that is isekai, it might have the distinct flavor notes you want. For me, it didn't have anything to hold my attention.
All it really has is character design in the end.
Yeah.
The story doesn't turn out to be remarkable. It's a bit more tame than the average level up fantasy, but not a lot more. It's still a pretty dramatic ascent through power rankings. They straight up call out basically a kill things and level up system right at the beginning.
Yeah.
But they don't call it that, and they don't show you a fucking stat screen, so
Yep.
that's something.
Yep.
But the world building is fine but not really exciting, and the plot is fine but not really exciting, and the waifus are fine but not really exciting, and the main character is fine but not really exciting, and the animation is bad. This didn't have half the budget that it needed to follow through on what you can tell it aspires to be, and that's kind of sad. If all the fight scenes were really fucking cool and stuff, if they went, well, we're definitely gonna let the girl character who wants to fight do a fight here because we want to give her a super cool fight scene that would be great to animate. That would count for a lot in this story, but they can't, and they don't, because they have no money for that, and the fight scenes that do happen are just a lot of things, sort of mostly still frames moving past one another and weapon sound effects, and then somebody falls down and there's a blood spurt. It's real sad stuff.
It's a bit ropey. I guess I would also like to put a note here in that it does list itself as dark fantasy.
Yeah, and it's not really.
Well, no, it is.
Yeah.
It definitely has the two hallmarks I would expect of a dark fantasy.
Darker than your average isekai.
While I am criticizing that genre, which is there is needlessly gory death, and also imperilement and sexual assault implications. Which, you do see those in standard fantasy.
I was gonna say, those get into light fantasy these days. That's just par for the fucking course.
But the fact that this world is meant to be nasty and edgy like that means that it comes up and is treated as a thing that you will just have to accept being part of the background radiation, as opposed to an aberration of evil, which is tiresome.
I don't know that that's true. Everyone who does sexually imperil a woman is unarguably evil and gets dealt with, for example. It's clearly aiming for dark fantasy, and it's not. There is a difference in tone from what you would normally get, but also it's not. If someone said to me, "Oh, it's cool in dark fantasy because you don't know who's gonna die, and you can't really be sure that anyone's the hero, and therefore they're definitely gonna live," and if you said that about this, you'd be wrong.
Yeah.
It's extremely clear who is going to live and not die.
It is very funny to me, though, that you are essentially arguing with the author. Because, they've listed it as a dark fantasy.
Look, they can tell me what they intended to make, and I can tell them what they made. That's what Death of the Author is.
Now, I will say, there is an idea that this show had on me at some point, which is why I wasn't completely discarding it, even though I wish I had never watched this. Which is, the last episode is called something like Beyond the Stars. Or What Lies Beyond the Stars.
Beyond the Sky, I think, yeah.
And given how closely it held its isekai details to its chest, and that the ending showed glimmers of a life in Tokyo, I thought that maybe the hook of Teogonia is the character dies at the end of the season and gets isekai'd again to a science fiction setting, and there's something more going on there with the promise of, hey, you're going to find out more.
It'd be kind of interesting to do an isekai that way. Mm-hmm. And maybe even, Inception style, roll it back at the end so you don't just leave everything you cared about, everything we were made to care about in that world behind, just unfinished. Because that would suck and be annoying.
Yeah. It didn't do that. It didn't promise that, but I imagined it might promise that, and that's why I'm, I guess, a little extra disappointed. But speaking of extra disappointed... Oh, no, go on. What do you got?
I was just going to call it out for the last thing when I did my list of, it's better than this, but also this. Another thing on that list should be he doesn't explicitly own a slave.
Oh, that's something.
But they do contrive a way to have
oh, yeah.
the waifu who looks like a child also only speak in a broken version of his language and choose to effectively make herself a slave to him.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of... She's she's like a halfling or a gnomish kind of character. I forget what they're called, but they're little guys. They're fantasy little guys who are just humans with pointy ears that are very short. And one of them is like, oh, we brought her to be a sacrifice for you because you're a great god. And he's like, I don't want that. And she's like, but I do. And, that goes exactly where you would expect it to go. Even as this is, like, more tasteful with its waifus, but, like, he's not falling on anyone's tits or anything, but also it's just very blatantly like, this is the only person worth any girl in this world liking, and they all fucking know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just felt like it wouldn't be right to let it get away without getting dinged for that particular little... it's just a little creepy. Don't love the optics of that.
Guilty Gear Strive Dual Rulers. Now, this is a special season of anime because Fox did something she normally doesn't do. Which is, Fox accepted dropping some series. We dropped Guilty Gear Strive Dual Rulers, I think in episode 3.
I'm pretty sure we did watch the second episode.
Yeah, I'm confident
we watched long enough to see Bridget show up.
Well, the first episode is all prequel and loading, and hey, we need to make sure you know who these characters are and their stupid lore. Second episode ends with look at the crowd. Bridget's doing stuff. Third episode begins with a big festival event where Bridget is doing yo-yo tricks, and the president is almost assassinated. Sorry, I'm spoiling this stupid show I don't care about. My bad.
None of this is worth considering to be spoilers. Mm-hmm. This is all set up for something like Guilty Gear.
But also, it's 8 episodes long, and it is a very Arc Systems Work looking thing. If you ever think, man, I bet Guilty Gear would make a great anime, you're wrong. But you can see.
Ironically, it's a weird thing to look at a 3D anime and go, the game that they make looks better at being an anime than this does.
Because those animations have a much smaller window of time to look good.
That's true.
A whole half-hour episode. This thing is so cheap looking for what it is. There are so many held stills. There are so many slow pans. There are so many slightly vibrating the shot with speed lines around it. It is amazing that these are the people who are renowned for being exceptional at animation in form, but because a fight animation has to last a minute tops, this looks dreadful.
There's probably also a lot more money going into a Guilty Gear game than there is going into this anime.
Yeah, and the story is about Guilty Gear stuff, and it's dumb. It's charming dumb.
It might be quite cool and meaningful if, like, you're into Guilty Gear, but I'm also, like, I have a relative... For an anime fan, I have a very low camp threshold.
Yeah.
For a normal person, I guess it's probably not that low, but, like,
no, for a
Guilty Gear has always been a bit stupider than I can handle.
For a normal person, your camp threshold is very close to the ground as well. You are not big on ostentatious silliness.
Actually, that's true. Normies have reality TV to push their camp threshold now, don't they?
RuPaul's Drag Race is one of the highest rated shows on TV.
All right, yeah. And fine. I don't like camp. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I could pay you to get through an episode of that.
I don't like camp unless it's you.
Anyway, next up we have Anne Shirley.
Do we need to give anyone a plot summary of this?
Anne Shirley is another anime interpretation of the novel series Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. This is something of a strange thing for Westerners to learn about, which is Japan loves Anne of Green Gables. Now, Westerners also don't realize that Westerners love Anne of Green Gables because there have been so many adaptations of Anne of Green Gables in my lifetime. The most recent one was like in 2021 called Anne with an E. It is a thing that people keep on liking to do, in part because you get to go to Prince Edward Island or Nova Scotia, can't remember which one, and film a bunch of really beautiful landscapes while people have low-stakes, bucolic drama.
Prince Edward Island.
Right, that's right.
Which I had no fucking idea this was Canadian, by the way.
Super Canadian.
Suddenly they're dropping real place names and talking specifically about a prime minister coming to visit, and I'm like, fuck me! I'm just so stunned that this isn't fucking American.
Yep. No, Anne of Green Gables is a classic novel. If you are like me and grew up in the 1870s, you might not have read the books because they're too radical and new thinking, but it's pretty common for people of my age to have read or at least been introduced to them in part. The story in the books is a very low-stakes example of an ADHD kid before the word ADHD was invented. And what you get is, honestly, a lovely setup for an anime where people keep engaging with Anne, who is a lot.
It became our refrain to just, like, turn to one another during this show and go, kid's a lot.
Kid's a lot.
But, like, in the best possible way. I've commented that my favorite genre of anime character is normal brain.
Yeah.
And Anne is no exception. I missed these books entirely when I grew up, by the way.
Yeah.
There wasn't a talking dog, and no one was casting spells or anything, so this was not my kind of show. I wasn't very interested in books about people doing normal things that I could do.
Yeah.
Unless they were also wombats.
And as far as an anime adaptation goes, look, you're gonna miss some of the more Yuri-rific stuff, because they have to speed through it.
We missed it?
There's more.
Wow.
This is a thing I have heard brought up as a criticism of Anne Shirley, which is there are multiple adventures she and her bestie go on, which very much colour how modern readers see that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is about as gay as something that doesn't acknowledge queerness exists and is definitely headed toward a heterosexual conclusion. Could possibly be.
Yeah. But this is a really interesting kind of thing to have exist and get to talk about, because one of the things with anime is that anime is fundamentally, as an industry, an advertising vehicle made on very limited budgets and to be generally pretty disposable. Most anime are genre media pumped out reasonably quickly and with a lot of shortcuts taken. And
That's not to invalidate it as art, even the stuff that's not really made with any kind of high-mindedness behind it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there is a tangible difference between the volume of anime and the presence of something like this.
Yeah.
Like, this... obviously this was made to turn a profit. It's still capitalism, whatever. But this was made because they wanted to make something beautiful.
Yeah, there is a sense of prestige to it. And that is indeed part of what it's advertising. What it's advertising is seriousness. That this is good, wholesome, enjoyable media, but it's about a serious book. And it's good for growing children. It is a good anime. I really enjoyed it. But it is tangibly of a different character to everything else you're going to see.
It's also fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
This is beautifully made. That's what convinced me to have a go at it in the first place, because otherwise this wouldn't normally be to my tastes. But it's really well done, and I think it benefits tremendously from the subtitles not transliterating the Japanese dialogue, but just obviously using the style of the book's dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume lines directly from the book in a lot of cases, because there's no fucking way that's how translation from Japanese would normally... Like, I don't speak Japanese, but I recognize enough of it in the context of things people say in anime to know that, well, that is definitely not what just got said. Mm-hmm. But, in context, we can assume that that's what would have been said equivalently in English. Which is, that's mostly why I don't watch dubs. This might actually have a dub worth checking out with that in mind. Because normally my dislike of dubs comes from the fact that most dubs, I feel, would benefit from a full rewrite to make it sound like words that English would... To make it sound like the way people who speak English would express the things that need to be expressed. Mm-hmm. Rather than a translation of the Japanese lines which usually sounds awkward as shit. The voice actors are doing their best.
One final thing I'll say on the animation and like how it looks and presents. The original anime of Anne of Green Gables, Akage no An, was 1979.
Oh yeah, that shit's old as balls.
And it's part of Nippon I can't pronounce that perfectly. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
That animation world masterpiece theater and was directed by a guy called Isao Takahata. That name probably doesn't stand out to most people. He's one of the 2 people who founded Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's the other Ghibli guy that no one knows the fucking name of.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows who Miyazaki is.
Yeah. They're the 2 guys who basically went, this Hayao guy. Yeah. It is a prestigious piece. And I think Anne Shirley, as an anime TV series, does an amazing job of presenting that prestige. And definitely a sort of like, everyone knows that a Ghibli look would be what we're going for here. We can't do that, but we can get close. And
we're not gonna just, try and ape Miyazaki's drawing style or anything. But if you make something this, like, pastoral... and this particular sort of period piece energy, you're gonna wind up with something that's very reminiscent of a lot of Ghibli stuff anyway.
Beautiful, and the Sakuga is used in deeply unexpected ways. Sakuga, for anyone who's not already familiar with the term, basically there's a point where the animation will ramp up and do something very special, and that's because people are budgeting where to use time for animators. Essentially, the simplified version of Sakuga is when the budget kicks in.
Yeah.
And in the 13th episode that we watched, because this is a double core series and it's going to keep rolling, and we're almost certainly going to watch all of it.
Oh, yeah, I'm not stopping.
But in the 13th episode, there is a sequence where someone scrubs Anne's face.
Oh, yeah, when they did the whole face squishy animation.
And, like, when you're scrubbing someone's face, you have every excuse to use one animation and loop it back and forth 4 or 5 times. They do not do that.
Apparently, this was their opportunity for some actual, like, slapstick animation, because this is not the kind of show where there's slapstick. But
really,
maybe you could squish a girl's face all over the place.
Really, really good stuff.
I also wanted to shout it out specifically for, as Talen mentioned, where we're rocketing along compared to the book.
Yeah.
We're, I mean, not no longer a minor by modern standards, but adult by the standards of her time.
Yeah.
By the end of the 12
She has a
episode
job.
block that we watched. She is effectively a working adult, the fact that she's 17 notwithstanding.
Yeah.
But even within that, like, truncated time, I believe they did a masterful job of having an animation model grow up.
Yes.
Because when you suddenly see flashbacks to kid stuff at the point where she's 17, you're like, oh shit, the way they draw her has actually changed a lot, but you've not really noticed it as it's gone along, because, you were there for it, like an actual fucking person you grow up with. And that's really impressive. That's not easy to do. There's a lot of subtlety at work here. I feel like whoever's responsible for, like, continuity of these models between episodes and like, maintaining that timeline deserves just all the praise in the world.
Next up, we have Apocalypse Hotel.
You know what? I don't know if this has a Japanese title other than Apocalypse Hotel.
It's entirely in katakana.
There you go.
So this is a anime original series made by Cygames Pictures, which is to say, this is being made by Cygames, which is to say, this thing is spending horse money.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to let that bring it down.
Don't! Cygames... Uma Musume, the game I'm talking about when I say horse money, makes enough money that Cygames Pictures is getting to do original anime like this.
Oh, I know. What I mean is I don't think very well of fucking gacha games.
No, nor do I.
They are extremely questionable.
I have problems with those. Nonetheless.
Yeah. On the other hand, Apocalypse Hotel is... I mean, I went into this without particularly high expectations. It appeared to have, like, quite a nice production quality to it, which is part of why I gave it a chance. Like, I thought, even if I find this boring or just depressing and frustrating and lost up its own arse, I'm probably at least going to see some nice animation, so I'll give it a couple of episodes. Because what I was expecting this to be was one of those anime that just wallows in self-pity the whole fucking time. Like, thought it was just going to be, you know, look at the cute girl acting out the dictates of capitalism as the world crumbles around her, and the end of all things draws ever tediously nearer. Look how serious and grown up I am for telling a sad, sad story about a sad girl. And boy, fuck howdy was I not ready for, like, Tanuki aliens to show up.
So, the premise of Apocalypse Hotel...
Yeah, go on.
...is a fully automated, robot-powered luxury hotel is being prepared for its big first day of business, and then Giga COVID happens, and humanity has to evacuate Earth or die. And apparently they mostly evacuated Earth. And enough people didn't whoever didn't evacuate Earth was in enough of a state that no mass looting happened. What you have then is an entirely synthetic staff who are coming out and maintaining the hotel and preparing to greet all the guests on a planet that is functionally dead of all sentient life. And that's your premise, that's your setup, and the first episode has this very mournful tone, and then at the end of the first episode, an alien shows up.
It turns out this is like a wacky week-to-week anthology story show where sometimes a couple of years pass between episodes and sometimes 200 years pass between episodes.
Yeah.
If it would be more interesting that way. Because we set up the premise of having an immortal cast. Or, as we get a bit further along, at least a very long-lived cast.
Yeah.
So why the fuck wouldn't we do that? We can. There's an episode that's about, we've run out of nice alcohol to serve at our fancy hotel. We need to learn how to make alcohol. And I, joked and laughed at this. Because that's gonna take a long time. And then the episode comprises 50 fucking years.
Yeah. They barrel age whiskey for 20 years.
It's wild.
Twice.
And, I mean, look at this poster. This, and now there's an alien who's a cactus, and there's an alien who's a weird spider guy, and there's an alien who's like a funky lobster, and there's an alien who looks like Naked Alf, and there's an alien that's the fucking Joker, I think. It's wild.
This show has an episode that's a grungy murder mystery. It has an episode that's a superhero alien battle. It has an episode that's a survival in extremes. It has an episode where a character leaves the hotel, and because there's no one to talk to, it just follows that character all day. The episode has no dialogue. It is amazing.
Yeah.
And
then there's an episode where the main character's body gets replaced by a tank.
Yep, there's an episode where a character dies and they talk about arranging a funeral and a celebration of a person's life, and robots that don't die are sitting around discussing what this means. Apocalypse Hotel is so much smarter and funnier and sweeter than I expected.
I was not at all ready for this.
You thought I was going to bail on this almost immediately.
I thought I was going to bail on this almost immediately.
But not just because, there's not much here, but because I have a particular problem with apocalyptic ideation. And
that's also true, yes.
And I didn't tap out on this one, despite the fact that there's a lot in here to set me off.
They do go back to the well of seriousness.
Uh-huh.
There's we're in spoiler territory, so I'm allowed to just
Never got a
talk about
spoiler
it.
warning.
But the second last episode is the main character being forced to take a break from work for the first time in her life. Because it turns out that if a robot can have anxiety, then a robot also needs labor laws.
Yeah.
And effectively hunts for a spare part to stop herself from dying, which she eventually gets to corpse rob off another android that can't be repaired. And
technically gynoid.
Sure, I'm...
Isn't
that
a
word
weird distinction?
gross and no one likes it. Don't call them that. And it, this is right after she gets turned back from being a tank and throws the wedding funeral for alien Tanuki, and it's the wild swing between let's do some existential contemplation. And now let's mop up the slime left by the funny slug man from Planet Fartballs.
What I really love about this is that we back-to-back that sad contemplative episode with the episode of Anne Shirley where Matthew died.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You were...
That was such a mood that night. Boy. Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, sorry, spoilers for a book
the...
from 1908.
Yeah, wow. I can't believe it, Talen. You've no respect for our listeners, whom we also gave a spoiler warning to.
Yeah, Apocalypse...
You should watch this, it's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's very thoughtful and clever. It does a ton with animation. And also, not for nothing, but if you're looking for a very particular character of horny stuff, it's there, and it's handled so tastefully that someone like Fox, who's normally repelled by it, didn't go, ugh. The other thing I will add is the opening is, at first, just kind of interesting, and then you watch it enough times and you start to notice what's going on with it. It's really clever in that the characters dance. It's just an opening of watching Yashiro dance.
The fourth episode that we were into it, I was like, because every time I was like, this is kind of a dorky dance. I don't like it. Like, it's nicely animated and everything, but she looks kind of silly. And at about the fourth episode, I went, oh, it's because she's dancing half of a dance that's done with a partner.
Yeah.
I hate how thoughtful that is. I'm so mad now.
Yeah.
We talked numerous times after that about how cool it would have been if the opening had also changed with the status quo, because this is not a show that is going to rest on the status quo. You will not expect where it's going.
Yeah. Though that means that they would need more of a budget, but that's before I realized that this was a Cygames thing, so give them more horse money!
Yeah, I mean, this is by no means cheap. So they could have splashed a little more to make that happen. I would have really loved to see the other characters moving and changing, and to also have that one episode where she'd be a tank for it. That would have been brilliant.
Her hands are little grabbies.
Little grabbies!
You gotta give them the clamps.
I mean, all hands are little grabbies. That's kind of what little grabbies are, but they are the clamps.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could carry on about this for a while if we wanted to, I'm sure, but suffice to say, it's very good. If you haven't already seen it, you should have already seen it. It's better when it's a surprise, but it's not too late. It's still good.
And we can't carry on for too much longer because we definitely need some time for other shows later on.
What do we got?
Next up, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Gquuuux.
Jeez. Very clearly pronounced quacks in the show, isn't it? Even though it looks like quirks.
Yeah. This is when I didn't bother putting the Hepburn up here because, like...
It's the same fucking thing.
It's Gquuuux, which... It's Gquuuux. It's Gquuuux.
Yeah. Look, if it's just a rendering of the English, then we don't bother doing the title. There's no point. This was another kind of disappointing one. I was really psyched for this. You might remember
if I may, before you go.
Fine.
The premise of this is it's another fucking Gundam. As you were.
Sure. But it's not just another Gundam, and that's why I was excited about it. Because, you see, last time they made Witch from Mercury, which was a Gundam where the main character was just for you.
Yeah. She was great. I still love Soletta so much.
I really thought that this Gundam, with its, like, shitty little monkey of a main character fucking climbing on shit and throwing rocks at people and just doing stuff based entirely on id and thrill-seeking, was gonna be a Gundam where the characters were just for me. And also there's this fucking flaky artist guy who's really hot.
Her name, by the way...
Machu.
Yeah, and, God...
Machu, Nyan, and Shuji. I can't actually remember the names of these characters.
Yeah, the thing that frustrates me is that no one should be surprised by this. I have the Wikipedia summary on hand. I don't remember all of the artists and all of the writers for these things off the top of my dome. But in this case, I'm just so mad because what do you think is the first name that shows up in the plot summary?
Cha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is an instant reveal for what is disappointing about this show, because, like, I was so excited to see these three characters have a Gundam show about them where they did cool stuff and had relationships and lived out an interesting story that was about them.
Yep.
But this is a Gundam, and it's set in a different timeline from old Gundam, like original Gundam.
Which is known as the Universal Century Timeline.
Yeah, sure. I wasn't going to call it that because it would make Gundam fans angry at me.
They're not watching this.
That's probably true.
You know who's watching this? My deranged Patreon
Yeah,
subscribers.
people who follow me on Mastodon.
These are people who think you're great. These are people who want to hear us yell about Dimension 20.
All right, yeah, well. Anyway, So, the first episode, you get sort of set up in the introduction to these characters, and they have, like, a basic level of conflict, and then they have a basic level of cooperation, and you're like, cool, awesome. We set up a plot where they accidentally acquire a superpowered robot, and now they're going to use it to do, like, Fight Club, basically. Gundam Fight Club. Mm-hmm. And they definitely shouldn't be doing this. They should be going back to their private school and, studying for their end-of-year exams, but they're not going to because that's fucking boring, and there's a giant robot here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second episode is entirely a fucking flashback to explain why this Gundam world is different from the other Gundam world. Because apparently you can't cover that in a single scene where it's like, oh, yeah, because Char accidentally got a better superpowered Gundam.
But also...
That's all you need to fucking know in episode 2.
We don't know who Char is. We do not care who Char is.
First time. I think... The older characters mention him by name, so like he's the name drop, and you know that he's somebody historically important, but you don't then need a whole episode that is entirely just political shit, and it's like it's a fic level recap of what went different. Like, it's all supposed to be like, and this is this important event from the timeline, and this is why it went differently now that Char has this robot, and this is this event from the original timeline, and this is why it went differently because now Char's it. Like, I don't fucking care. You already told me he won the war because he has the new robot. We're done. We're fucking done.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I got angrier and angrier about that second episode as we watched more of the show, because what goes on after that is that these three characters have an immediate breakup of their friend group, and everything goes horribly wrong, and one of them fucking vanishes, and the other two hate each other, and it's profoundly frustrating because we needed to see them be friends first, and we didn't get that because that's what was in episode 2, and instead they made episode 2 fucking Char's Wild Ride. I'm so angry.
I mean this as politely as possible to all of the big fans of Char. He is not interesting. You can love Char. Char is one of your favorite things about one of your favorite shows in your favorite universes. I have nothing but respect for the fact that people love Char. If you are not already invested, if you have not already seen that stuff and gotten boiled like a frog step by step into existing in a world where Char is cool enough that the fact that Zex is wearing a Char mask in Gundam Wing is the thing that makes people pop off.
He's now the hottest boy.
If you're not there, Char is a smug weirdo.
I can see why he was so compelling when he showed up in his correct context, in his correct time and place.
He was 1971. They'd invented 2 boys and one of them had a mustache.
That's what I mean. And but at this point, he is so repeated that he has become an archetype.
Yeah.
And therefore, the him that was there to begin with isn't at all compelling. This is like when I tried to watch Blade Runner, and I realized that I was bored by this incredibly important, fantastically made, brilliant, influential, important movie, because I had seen the billion things that had just ripped it off or repeated it since that. And that made it feel just wholly derivative. I'm like, I know this isn't fair. This isn't an accurate vision of what this movie is, but I can't be interested in it because everything else has ruined it for me. Anyway, that's what Char was like in this show. It's like, I don't fucking care about you or anything you do or any of the politics surrounding you or any of the people talking about you or impressed by you or in love with you tragically. I don't fucking care about any of that. I just want to get back to these 3 characters who were presented to me as cool, exciting, interesting characters with fun designs that I wanted to see be friends and then maybe enemies and then maybe lovers. Because this is also another one of those anime that would be sold by a polycule.
So, when you remember that Char is an archetype, we have dealt with Chars in our own media partaking.
I mean, Zex was a Char. We didn't even watch all of Gundam Wing, but...
Yeah. The other thing is, Elnora from Witch from Mercury is the Char of that series.
Which one's that?
Mum.
Oh, yeah, she's got the mask, yeah.
Yeah.
We commented on that at the time, yeah.
She's the Char.
Yeah, there's always a Char!
And she was an amazing antagonist. She was great. And then they roll this out and say, hey everybody, we've got the original flavor back in stock again. And I'm like, I don't care.
I don't want it.
Gquuuux. Gquuuux does deserve special mention though, because of the music. And like, you can make a fuss about the mech design being the guy who did the Evangelions, and that's just like a trivia note.
There's a lot of really funny moments in this where if you're, brain poisoned by Evangelion since you were teenagers, which we obviously are.
Yeah. We've
you
been
just
huffing
can't unsee. Like, there's a point where you joked about Shuji being Karu at one point, and like the very next thing he did was grab one of the Gundams that he was now giant in comparison to and squeezed it so its head popped off.
Yeah.
There's no way that's not deliberate.
Yeah, that's very deliberate. But the whole sorry. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that's like very, very referential and very good, and I wanted a lot more of what this show promised than what it gave me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this Gundam series was ruined by being too interested in being another Gundam series, and rather than focusing on its own story and its own characters, which is extremely a bummer for me, because the ending shows you the hypothetical life that Nyan and...
Oh, the ED, like the ending sequence.
Yeah. I almost called her Mochi.
Machu.
Have as a personal life, and it is charming and sweet, and it is so fun. It's animated with such joy, which is why...
I think that's supposed to, like, tie into it as well. Like, it's...
We haven't got time for an episode for this.
This is like the future that got stolen from them kind of thing. So you're supposed to be sort of sad about this when they're fighting and like, this is what they should be doing. This is what they could be doing. But unfortunately, that's also literally true in terms of what you should have put in the show. So,
But that music that I want to point out, right, with the music of this show, for a start, the opening is called Plasma. It's by Kenshi Yonetsu. That's the same person who did the opening for Chainsaw Man called Kickback. Song's a banger. Plasma's a banger.
Yeah.
Really quite like this work.
ED, both bangers.
The ED is especially notable as a banger because it's the work of someone called Hoshimachi Suse.
Okay.
Which you don't recognize at
I do
all.
not.
And I didn't recognize at all.
Is a VTuber?
But the link is purple. Why is the link purple? The link is purple because she's a VTuber.
Oh, you've read this before. Yeah, she is a VTuber. Yeah, there you go.
This is someone who has
song.
gone from the streaming to VTube to karaoke VTube to actually making singles in Japan, industry pipeline. And that's notable in that now even lowly streamers can live up to their dreams of being mercilessly and ruthlessly exploited by the Japanese music industry for not enough money.
Truly a beautiful future.
What do you want to bet someone has told her she needs to make sure she doesn't gain any weight, even though she's a virtual avatar?
I wouldn't fucking doubt it.
Like,
they probably think your voice can get fat.
This kid sounds fat.
I mean, I can count more than one example of anime I have watched where they explicitly say that you put on fat in your tits when you eat too much.
Spoiler warning for something that's going to come up later.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Like, that's not the first time I'd heard of that, and that ain't right. That shouldn't be something people believe.
But since we're talking about food, how about a little... Come on.
No, if it's
Food
ruining
for the
your
soul.
transition. Hibi wa sugeredo meshi umashi.
How many episodes of this did we get through?
2.
2!
Yeah, I mean, this is... You can see what is on the screen for this show, and you know exactly all of what this show is. It's a cute girls doing cute things show. What they are doing here is cooking. These ones are meant to be university age, but you wouldn't fucking know that unless they told you, because all the girls look the same in these fucking shows.
Yeah, these are meant to be college students.
And in particular, I do not care. The reason I dropped this is because I realized that I don't have a low tolerance for cute girls doing cute things shows. I just don't like the art style on most of them. Mm-hmm. I can't stand looking at K-On! I do not enjoy any of the fucking idol girl shows. And I just don't like looking at these characters. I don't find them appealing. There's something about the art style that does not get me. So after realizing that, I was just like, well, there's no point me watching a show where nothing happens if I'm not spending the entire time going, but it's so cute!
The girls are camping!
Yeah. Basically, I jettisoned this for not being Yuru Cap, and that's my right.
On a
It's probably fine if you think it looks cute. You'll probably enjoy it.
Also, Food for the Soul is an original anime series created by an artist called Ato, who is the author of an older series you might remember called Non Non Biori.
I have heard that name, but I know nothing about it.
Yeah, it's an isekai series about cute girls doing cute things when nothing fucking happens.
Yeah, Yashike.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry, I did pass that as isekai the first time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is... Hang on. No, that seems wrong.
Yeah. No, it's you know, this is the thing that this artist does with this kind of character. I think it's a testament to the kind of show this is. That when I was making the slides for this, for a start, terrible English title, fire your translators. This is an ungoogleable phrase.
It is ungoogleable, and it's not an accurate translation either, right? It's just like a catchy English phrase they used.
You should have just used the actual Japanese to English translation, which is days go by, but food is delicious.
Oh, that's good.
Because Food for the Soul is, again, just ungoogleable.
Yeah, you should not just use like a pat stock phrase for your series title. It's not going to work out well.
Here's a fun test for you, friends and web searchers. Grab your search engine of choice, which should probably be DuckDuckGo at this point, but Bing will do in a pinch.
I've been enjoying startpage.com because there isn't even an option to turn on LLM bullshit.
And ask it to show you Food for the Soul, in quotation marks, and then afterwards add the words anime and 2025.
And then you'll probably get to the TVDB page.
You will see Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle before you see anything for this anime.
Oh, you're going to get a bunch of listicles.
The manga, like this picture here, this is the cover of the manga.
Yeah.
This is not a promo shot from the anime. I could not find promo shots for the anime. This is... No one cares about this in English.
Oh yeah, we didn't do the plot summary for this. A bunch of girls want to have a club room they can use, so they pretend to be in a food club and they accidentally become a food club.
Yeah.
There, we're done.
Yeah, I didn't provide a summary or interrupt you to try and... Like, hang on.
That's it.
Can I give a summary here? Because, there's no point. No one cares.
But that really is it. Like, that's
the show.
From there, they are just going to cook a bunch of food and enjoy it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I have words to say about a show that is essentially just pottering around the house.
Absolutely.
But we'll have more opportunities to talk about that.
The thing is, people who want a show that's just pottering around the house should have it.
Yep.
I have no problem with that. So I have no problem with this. I just couldn't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, next.
Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Kowloon generic romance.
Shit. You know what? Before we talked about this, I meant to look up how you're actually meant to say the name of this place. Because in the Japanese, they sure as shit say it Kowloon.
Yes.
And I'm like, is that how it's meant to be said? I know that fucking... The various forms of Chinese romanization are not remotely as predictable as the form of Japanese romanization that we use. So that, are they right? Have I been saying it wrong? It would be very unsurprising if just OW doesn't go cow, because... Anyway, I've already talked too much about this, but I'm going to be real self-conscious about that, and that's why I'm going to say it differently from Talen every time. But it's not because I think he should change, it's just because I want to hedge my bets.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I call it Kowloon, because that's the way I learned the thing when that place existed in the real world.
Yeah, and I realized I've literally never heard anyone say this.
I'm sorry.
Except for people whom I have no reason to think they know how to say it either. So.
Yeah, the romanization, the Hepburn translation of this title is Kuron, Generiku Romancy.
Well, specifically, it's Kuron, which will be important.
Yeah, And indeed, the kurun in that is a kanji, and it is Ku with a hard line over RON. So if you're familiar with how to read your vowels, that's the hard U. So kurun.
I don't know what hard means in this context, but that's what they use in preference to just putting the vowel twice, which is the more, like, technically accurate form of it.
Yeah.
So it just means it's a long U sound. The point is, it's a pun on clone. In Japanese, it sounds the same as clone.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the show.
So, Kowloon Generic Romance is set in the walled city of Kowloon. And if you happen to be any kind of fan of history, because it just happens to you, you might go, hang on, I remember that place from all the stories in the 90s about the most terrible, densely populated, horrible place in the world.
Specifically, it's a second version of that, which was
getting
apparently built... Well, I'm not... No, that's the thing. There's the Matrix element of it, but they also... When it was real, they refer to it as Kurun 2, a second version of that city that was built illegally by people. So, like, it is implied that there is a second one before any of the weird shit that goes on.
Yes. This is a story set in Kowloon, walled city, that it then goes, but it's the second Kowloon walled city, because the first one was demolished.
What? That's what I'm saying. I could be wrong. It's my recollection of the plot that they said it's the second one, and the second one was the one that got demolished.
The first one got demolished, and the second one was built because the people who saw the second one get demolished was like, no, we like that place, and then they rebuilt it somehow. You can apparently just rebuild an incredibly densely populated location of skyscrapers and whatnot. But then, in addition to that...
Then they demolished the second one as well.
They demolished the second one as well.
That sounds about right.
A lot of things happen in this anime.
This is the kind of place that wealthy people would seek to destroy.
I am not done with the first sentence of the summary. Basically, there's this place called Kowloon, walled city 2. And in that, we are introduced to a dude who looks like he belongs on a gag manga from the 70s called...
Him named Kudo.
Kudo. And his co-worker, the most attractive woman in anime ever, Reiko Kujirai. And they are real estate agents. Boo! Hiss! But it turns out...
real estate agents in this case is mostly fixers for poor people, so...
Yeah.
I'm gonna allow it without booing in this case.
But it turns out that in this situation, that this story set in a grungy, everyone smokes, crime-riddled 90s version of a Japanese person's depiction of Hong Kong's depiction of a crime district, is not about real estate agencies at all, and instead about how nostalgia is a poison and it will kill you.
Yeah, this is... Even more than anything else we have watched, this is the one that you should really watch before we talk about it, if you have any interest in it.
Well, you've already given away that there's clones, and they've made the city twice, and then there's the fake city.
Look, I feel like most of that was given away in the trailer.
Fair enough.
I mean, it is immediately we are introduced to the concept that Reiko might not be herself. Because she doesn't seem to have any of the memories that she should have, or most of the personality traits that she should have. And Kudo, who for some reason she is very compelled to be in love with immediately, is dissatisfied with her for not being right. And, like, there's an immediate overtone of, like, she doesn't belong here. The fucking opening sequence has her face replaced with a 404, for Christ's sake. That's not a spoiler.
This is the problem with this show. Because this show does such a good job of explaining how all of its deliberately confusing elements lock together and make sense, that when you look back at what happens in the first episode, the stuff that's designed to confuse you and make you go, what's going on here? We're like, well, it's very obvious, actually. She's a clone, and there's a 404 error because of the... You know, it's like, no, actually, I had no idea what was going on at that point.
I mean, I didn't know explicitly clone right from the go, but The trailer makes it very clear that something is fucked up and she doesn't belong here and she's not really her.
Yes. Yep.
So...
Well, there's something is fucked up here. That I'll give you. Absolutely. That is very nakedly part of the text in the opening.
The dub trailer that you showed me before we watched this includes a conversation where she's like, I'm not the Reiko, I'm not the Kujirai you know, or something like that, and he says it's more like you don't know her. I think they are very clear about her not being right in this context.
You are. I'm there for you on that
and
one.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that most people know what a 404 code means these days.
Probably, yeah.
Like, some of the other ones they use, alright, I get why people wouldn't know what, like, a 503 is or a 403 is or whatever, but...
I spent a big chunk of the opening couple of episodes of this series reasonably convinced that what was happening here was all memory-based. And that we weren't dealing with anything that exotic, and this could all be about misplaced memory loop or something like that.
That's absolutely a possibility at first.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it goes places. And, this, I want to compare this favorably to Utena and Evangelion, okay? So if you're into that genre of it's a thinky one, it's got a particular aesthetic, if you want that kind of thing and where emotions are very important to solving and understanding the mystery, I think this series compares favorably in that space.
There's definitely a lot of, like, contemplation of identity and self-determination and whatnot in a way that is quite reminiscent of latter half Evangelion in particular. I don't remember Utena that well because I haven't watched it remotely as recently as you have, and I don't think I ever saw all of it when I did watch it. But there's distinct Ava vibes here, and not just because the art is very 90s throwback as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of the designs, even on top of the art style, that way too, which is beautifully executed, very nicely done. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out, a very deliberate artistic choice. It's not just doing it for its own sake. If anything, it's more like they had the story they wanted to tell, and then they were like, this is a perfect excuse to make a beautiful looking 90s throwback anime.
Yeah, there's a deep intentionality to everything in Kowloon generic romance. I also would point out that this is an anime where genders are happening. Perhaps as a reference to the throwback of the 90s, there is queerness, there is a gay couple in this, but there is also a discussion of queer bodies, and it is being told in effectively an action mystery series where it's not going to be given focus. Like, no one's going to sit down with a chart and say, here's what non-binary representation means. All right? You're going to have to deal with this series being deliberately ambiguous about things because there are things queer people don't want to talk about much, and the information you get is going to come from things like doctors, and that means it's going to be medicalized, which kind of sucks, and it means it might say some things that make you a little uncomfortable. But also, the characters in question are whole and realized and really quite well handled, in my opinion, as admittedly a mere cis boy.
I was astonished where this went with its queerness, because this was a hard watch for me at first.
They're smoking all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if I've spoken too much about this on the podcast before, but I fucking hate cigarettes. I hate seeing them. It makes me feel ill to watch someone smoking, let alone be near someone smoking. It's really bad, and especially in this show about nostalgia, where every scene of this couple where they recall, becoming an item and having this incredible romance or whatever, it's just every second moment someone has a cigarette hanging out of their mouth, or they're actively blowing it into each other's faces, or you know what cigarette nostalgia is for me? It's being stuck in the back of a car with parents who, because it was still the late 80s, didn't appreciate that you shouldn't just smoke 3 cigarettes on a car trip while your kid is in the back and then not allowed to roll down the window because you're on the highway. And then because they get car sick and they get migraines from your fucking cigarette smoke, they throw up all over themselves. Cigarettes are not sexy the way that anime still thinks they are sexy, let me tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, but that's my specific thing.
Yeah.
And I was struggling with this, and for a while I was genuinely worried that it was just going to play old shit straight and not do anything different with it and just go, wasn't it great when everyone smoked all the time? And all the queer people were just fucking weirdo villains designed to be creepy and unsettling because, look, that's too feminine for a guy to be like. Or, oh my, they're fucking even. Oh no, that one's evil as well. And it was so much fucking better than that.
Yep.
There's the point where Talen, at one point, pointed to a situation where they pulled back the It's 90s Forever nostalgia curtain.
Yep.
And went, they have no smoking signs on the walls now. And I was like, fuck me!
Yeah.
And also, since thinking about that afterwards, I realized that Reiko basically stops smoking in, like, the last few episodes. It's like the final bit of behavior tied to this identity she's supposed to be living out that she just kind of ditches on without ever making a big deal out of it or anything.
Because nostalgia is a poison,
yeah,
and it will kill you.
Yeah, it's
such as a yearning for a time when everyone fucking smoked.
Yeah.
This show has
wild.
so much intentionality about it. I want to give this show complete unvarnished praise because almost all the things I will normally point out, it does amazingly well. But all of this hangs on Kudo as a character, and he sucks.
You know what, though? I was okay with that, because, final spoiler warning, I guess. Like, because it all came down to, like, yeah, no, this is his fucking damage.
Yeah.
He's not just, like, he's not a sympathetic figure suffering at the heart of all of this. He's just a guy who can't fucking get over his own inability to connect to someone else when he thought he had it in hand.
The comparison to Utena leaps large in my mind again. And if you know how Utena ends, I would point out that imagine we follow a different character at the end of Utena and we see that character waiting outside of the story for the other characters to join them. That's how this ends. And how long do you think they're going to have to take to get there? God, this is a good show!
There is sort of some information missing at the end of that. Like, it's not entirely clear how the whole Matrix scenario works in the end. Like, it's... The best explanation, especially once it gets all surreal and Evangelion about it, is that it is all in your mind, but then how are these people not dead? Like, they've not been eating or anything this entire time, and, like, other people can see what's literally there, they just can't see what's magically there, for lack of a better word. So why can't they see a bunch of these weirdos crawling around acting like stuff is happening?
We're in full spoiler territory here. This doesn't matter. Look, we know for a fact that the items are not in people's head because someone left behind items, died, and the items persisted, and other people found the items. So the nature of the nature, like, Kowloon Kowloon's a real place. It is a real physical touch it and do stuff with it place if you have the key to get there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the part that's never really explained. And, it doesn't really need to be explained in the end. You have to take it for what it wants to be. Because at the point where you're like, well, no, it's like, this is kind of it's therapy purgatory.
Yeah.
You get out of here when you achieve self-actualization.
Yeah.
And get your hierarchy of needs going, bitch.
It's a Groundhog Day style time loop. And the funniest part to me is that we get to see the main character leave and come out of it, and then someone else has to go through like 9 more loops. It's not just one more, it's multiple more.
I think they say it's 2 years.
Yeah, so it's
at the end. Yeah.
4-ish loops before they're finally like, oh, maybe that conversation I had 2 years ago was right and I should fix my shit.
I feel like 2 years is about how long a lot of guys need to cry on the floor to fix their shit. If only we were all so fortunate as to have a place where we could just safely cry on the floor for 2 years.
Guys will invent a virtual fake dimension populated by some of the most weirdly hot characters in anime rather than go to therapy.
Guys will literally become the Matrix rather than go to therapy.
Alright, we good?
trying to remember if there's anything else I want to say about this.
Jahe?
There's so many impressive... Shomei is the best character ever, and Shohei is astonishingly well treated.
Which is amazing, because Yame is also the best character ever.
Yame's the blonde.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jahe is the black-haired one.
Yeah, yes.
But the point is that, like,
Yes.
so many of these characters are just the best character. The fucking fish!
I kept yelling at this screen that they needed to get the fish a bigger bowl.
They got it?
Then in, like, episode 8, I'm like, oh, she's the fish.
Yeah!
I get it. But then they didn't get it a bigger bowl.
They kind of did.
They still need to... In the end, it's in a smaller one than it had the hexagonal tank. Needs bigger bowl. Yeah, I can't... As a person without a particularly powerful case of the genders myself, I have most accurately described my gender as malicious compliance. I can't say that this show is, like, perfect about it because I'm not in the position to judge, but it was really remarkable to me how much better it did than expected. Aside from characters just continuing to use pronouns that are probably like, well, I mean, come on, let's be realistic. That is almost certainly an egg forced to go through the wrong puberty.
But English!
But English and translation, and also, like, if you were using a set of pronouns for someone and they didn't ask you to change, you don't... You know, it's not polite to change them for them.
Yeah.
There's a lot bound up in this. But, like, for all the world, it seems to me like the worst thing it does is have the cis characters be perfect about it.
Yeah.
Basically. Just instantly lovely and understanding.
Yep.
In a way that, like, maybe invalidates the fact that a lot of cis people are really shitty about this. But, you know, I also didn't want to see them be shitty about this, so how do you untangle that?
Everyone is going through something.
Everyone is going through something here, and for a show that did a lot of work to convince you things might not end well. Certainly not for everyone you care about. This also had a truly astonishing amount of happy ending in it for me, and it made me it gave me exactly the ending I wanted out of this.
Yeah.
And that is so fucking rare for an anime to do. Even a good anime. You said before that if you only liked anime that nailed the ending, you would like maybe like 2 shows.
Yeah. Well,
one of them is Summertime Rendering.
That is specifically the point. I was going to make a joke of like, yeah, I would normally like 4 shows, and that's because Summertime Rendering bumped the number up.
Well, you'd like 4 now because Kowloon has a great ending.
Kowloon has an amazing ending. I'm genuinely happy that you brought that anecdote up because I was about to.
There you go. Yeah, I this might be my favorite of what we watched this season, which is really saying something considering how uncomfortable I was for the first half of it.
Yeah.
Do you recommend?
I'm just making sure I don't rush ahead to the next thing. Because this is the high watermark, people.
God, it's really validating to go through an anime going, really? Him? And at the end, the anime turns around and looks at you and goes, right?
Yeah. Hear me out.
Ah, vindication.
13 episodes long of hear me out. Speaking of unfuckable cretins, Lazarus!
Wow, that's rough.
No, it's actually...
I wouldn't describe anyone in this show that way.
No. Well, the thing is, the characters who are unfuckable aren't the cretins, but the characters who are cretins are definitely fuckable. Lazarus is a action, mystery, race against time kind of anime story by Shinichiro Watanabe. Obligatory mention.
He directed it, obviously. Did he also write... He's not the writer as well, is he?
He's one of the 4 writers on this, along with Dai Sato, Takahiro Ozawa, and Tsukasa Kondo.
No. So I'm going to assume that this is, like, expressing a lot of him.
Yeah.
Because it certainly feels like it's expressing a lot of him.
Yeah, and that second name, Dai Sato, just for what it's worth, major works. Cowboy Bebop, 3 episodes.
Yeah, so.
Ghost of the Shell Standalone Complex, 6 episodes. Wolf's Reign.
Oh, well, we won't talk about that
Samurai Champloo, Eureka 7, Space Dandy.
Wow, that's a lot of, that's a lot of stuff that I don't particularly like, but colossally well regarded by people at large. And then there's Wolf's Rain right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh, and the thing he's doing these days to pay the bills is he's the series composer, as in, puts together what the series should include for Pokemon. So,
well, yeah, that's, that sure is a baseline gig.
Yeah. Now, Lazarus is very... Lazarus is a utopian 2049, but it's not utopian. Actually, everything sucks, because while everyone has cured most things that ail them with an amazing drug called Hapna, it turns out that actually Hapna's bad, and it's going to kill everyone in 30 days. And the race is on to find the person who made the drug and made it so it would do this, and whether or not our heroes catch him is the whole thrust of the series.
What's the best way to make sure you get an effective team together? Do a Suicide Squad on them. Just get a bunch of people with bad reputations and force them to do it at the threat of being fucking exploded.
Uh-huh. And this crew of characters is... oh, wait, I've got an image on screen. So it's Elena, Christine, Axel, Doug, and Leland.
Yep.
Look, this is a grungy action kind of crimey story. It's fine. It's fine. I feel it's really rough because I pointed out that the people involved in this worked on Standalone Complex and Cowboy Bebop, both of which are pretty good.
Look, it's what it intends to be. It's very dumb.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I didn't love any of these characters, but I did enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
There's some real fucking mixed messaging going on with the nature of Hapna and the question of maybe humans should die. Maybe this is what we deserve. And just pretending like that's a valid question.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you paying attention to yourself?
Ostensibly speaking, this is meant to be an anime that wants to talk about the opioid crisis and climate change, and I don't think it understands either of them.
No.
And that's a bit of a bummer.
I mean, Lazarus itself is very clearly stated to be an incredibly effective painkiller that is also very cheap, mass-produced and readily available everywhere, and has no side effects.
And is generic.
Yes.
The patent is free, so everyone can make their own copy of it.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about how the generic in Kowloon refers to making a no-brand version of something.
Yeah, well...
Oh shit, that's really important to the imagery and
really
stuff.
Smart.
Yeah, this show is not smart.
No.
So they establish basically a perfect drug. And then they treat the fact that everyone has used this side effect-free painkiller as a drug addiction crisis.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think you know what that means.
Yeah, being side effect free means it's not addictive.
People sure as shit do get addicted to painkillers, but it's not because they have no side effects. It is, in fact, entirely for the side effects.
It's actually a little worse than that, which is people get addicted to painkillers because they're in pain. Also
that.
Because one of the symptoms of withdrawal is pain.
There's a point in the story where the young hacker girl character, I think you said her name was Elena?
Elena, yeah.
She's the only one whose name didn't stick in my head for some reason. There's a point where she talks about kids taking it recreationally. I'm like, why? Why? But if you're in pain, if you're not in pain, you don't need it. If you are in pain, it's not recreational. Why is this being framed like a party fucking drug? That's not what it does. And she talks about the adults having it wasn't given to a lot of children, with the premise of adults not understanding what a child would need with painkillers. And I'm like, what universe do you live in? They would have given this to every child dealing with intense pain in a hospital, because it has no fucking it's the safest. It's a thing you can give to a child that is an ablative painkiller. That's so valuable.
It positions the idea of the opioid
fucking
crisis
nonsense
as being the fault of people being irresponsible with taking medication, as opposed to the real thing, which is it was a conspiracy by a company to pressure doctors into overprescribing something that people would then need to keep buying. It is...
Yeah.
Look, fundamentally, Lazarus does not have the boots for this hike. It is okay. It is an anime that is about a pretty good leverage episode every episode.
If you take everything they tell you about it at face value and don't actually think about it, everything works just fine. If you take a moment to inspect the reality that they have asked you to buy in, that they have gone, here, this drug could cause this, and you look at it and you go, it literally couldn't.
Yeah. By your definition.
That drug doesn't create this problem. Why didn't you just use a drug that would create this problem? That's not hard to imagine, right? You didn't need to make it a miracle drug with no side effects to have this setup. It could have been the same as any other fucking painkiller, but because the guy gave up the patent, it became the one that everybody used. That's all you would need for it to be the cheapest solution in a capitalist society. You're done!
Yep.
It's wild and stupid. But it really just doesn't matter that much in the end, because the only reason this anime exists is so they could animate the action scenes they wanted to animate. And those are fucking spectacular.
Those own bones. Shinichiro Watanabe, apparently pretty good at action sequences. Who knew?
Yeah. Of our 5 quote-unquote main characters, our main character is Axel. Because he is parkour Superman. And he is gonna do a bunch of fucking insane bullshit stunts. Jumping off buildings and disarming guys before they can shoot him. And just doing everything you would want an unarmed fight guy to do.
A name I missed. It's Chad Stahelski. Or Stahelski. I might not have that pronounced correctly.
Oh, this is one of your John Wick guys.
That's one of the John Wick guys who helped direct the action. So yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is fundamentally a show about watching cool action sequences.
Yes. And, like, it absolutely fucking delivers on that front. If you're not too concerned with questioning why the story is dumb, you will have a good time with this. There's still some very questionable choices in here. Like, it still suffers from that too cool for its own good thing, where they think that guys actively trying to rape women is more funny than it is inexcusable.
Yeah.
To the point where they bring one of them back as an 11th hour team ad, where they're like, hey, you remember this guy? He tried to get you drunk and fuck you without consent, but you'll let him on the team now, won't you, guy who was dressed as a girl at that time?
Yep.
Some real nasty shit there. And they buried a gay, which is quite sad.
Yep.
Like, normally that phrase is used inaccurately, but in this case, it absolutely was. They're like, hey, Christine has a complicated past as a Russian spy, and she was definitely fucking this girl. Like, we're actually gonna, like, no, they are girlfriends. Here, they kissed. But she's gonna die now. And that was just real, like, come on, you didn't need to do that. Bah!
Yeah. Music's real good.
Music's top tier. Leyland should have better hair.
Yeah, Leyland needs to be about 10% hotter all over.
Doug is hot enough.
Yeah,
and it's really cool to see a black guy as one of the main cast.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a hell of a lot of color otherwise, but it's real nice that he's here.
I know that there's a lot of bound up stereotyping in the kind of black guy he is, but if you accept he is the archetype that he is, he's pretty fucking cool.
There's also an element of, like, you remember when you and I talked about girl stereotypes, and, like, every pitch you gave me for a character, I was like, yeah, but that just kind of sounds stereotypically like this. And after a while of talking about it, we realized that, no, it's just that we've made it so everything you do with a girl is negatively cast into a shitty stereotype, because that's what we do with girls.
Yep.
And we do it with black people as well. Like,
yep.
It's the same fucking thing. Whatever you do, there's going to be some part of it that edges into a shitty trope, because there are just too many fucking shitty tropes.
Also,
Popcorn Wizard's pretty sick.
Minor note, all of the episodes are named after songs or albums.
Yeah, that figures.
So you got Goodbye Cruel World, Life in the Fast Lane, Long Way From Home, Don't Stop the Dance, Pretty Vacant, Heaven is a Place on Earth, Almost Blue, Unforgettable Fire, Death on Two Legs, I Can't Tell You Why, which means Don Henley's in this list twice, Running with the Devil, Close to the Edge, and The World Is Yours. Which, you know,
Also, very cool ending sequence to a fucking Boo Radley song.
There, yeah. Yeah, the
Opening sequence? It's not Tank.
he was always going to be running uphill against the fact that, like, the opening can't be Tank. Imagine if they just did that. We just use Tank again. We're just going to make a second anime where the opening is Tank.
It's so funny. I mean, I've seen more than one anime where fucking Kibin Jojo was the ending.
Yep. And one of them was good. All right, we got Lazarus out. Ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Miru, Path to My Future.
Oh Christ! I forgot that this existed.
Yes.
We actually haven't watched the last episode of this yet. There's one more that that I didn't legally find on a streaming service at the time.
Yeah, but it's 5 episodes long. It's not really a full anime. It's more like an OAV.
This is an anthology of short stories, is what this is. And it swings wildly between mediocre 2D animation, very mediocre 3D animation, and one just really beautifully made 2D episode.
Yeah.
I assume it was a different studio every time because the style is wildly different.
Different directors. Oh, no, wait. It is a different studio every time. The first is Studio Link, then Triff, then Scooter, then Shirogumi.
Yeah.
Then Rares, then Lark's Entertainment.
So that's
and
a real,
Studio
like,
Hibari.
fucking Animatrix / Star Wars
Yeah.
Legends or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe where they are tied together by the presence of this central transforming robot from the future protector kind of thing called Miru.
Yeah.
And each of them is a story about, like, a person in a particular sort of era on Earth contending with human development and the damage we do to our surroundings in the course of bettering ourselves and or destroying ourselves. And some of them fall pretty flat, and some of them aren't too bad. And the last one we saw, which is not the last actual episode, but the last one we saw was trying to do an AI story. Well, a story about AI, and it did not... What is it you said? It doesn't have the boots for this walk?
It doesn't have the boots for this hike.
Yeah. Yeah, the real reason AI is bad is because it'll possess your robot parts and take over you and make you doubt that you exist as an artist anymore. But it's okay, because you can kill the bad AI. And then only good AI will be left.
So, I was perfectly willing to actually just skip this slide.
Oh, okay.
But when I was putting this together, when I was preparing the presentation, I thought, there's not a lot about Miru. We'll have something notable to say about the transition from the first episode to the second episode, how the second episode looked really good and the first episode looks like balls. But, like, there's nothing actually that meaningful here, and it's probably just a harmless thing. And then I looked into why this exists. So, this is an anime original. This is not a gacha game.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an anime original.
This is not a card game or a light novel or a manga or anything. This is the creative work of Yanma Holdings. And you go, I've never heard that before.
No,
and you're right, you've
haven't.
never heard of Yanma Holdings before.
I didn't know Yanma had a corporation.
Because you don't buy tractors.
Tractors, really? Wow.
Yanma Holdings are... Yanma Holdings are an agricultural and diesel-heavy machinery company that has been functioning since 1912 and is the primary supplier of John Deere tractors and unmanned aerial vehicles.
Hang on a minute, they make drones?
They make domestic drones and DRM motors for John Deere. This whole series exists because an executive thought, wouldn't that be cool? And the robot is designed to show off how talented the Yanma Holding Company's designers are at making aesthetically pleasant robot interfaces.
But the robot's just a human shape.
Yeah, well, they designed it.
Okay. I mean, if it looked like a tractor, that would be one thing.
Well,
But...
They don't make tractors. They make tractor parts. They make engines. They make diesel machinery. They
act-
are the people destroying the planet.
You've actually, in talking about it, reminded me that the AI episode wasn't the last episode we watched. It was the World Peace episode where this incredibly boring bureaucrat must live, because otherwise, who will do world peace? It's a wild set of shows. The second episode is definitely the standout, which is basically what if there was one Planeteer, but he had a Transformer as a best friend.
Our company would make the best-looking robot for destroying nuclear bombs.
Our company would make the best-looking prophetic superhero robot, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, this anime exists for the dumbest reason by a company that is happy to brick a farmer's tractor if they haven't paid the subscription service on it.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm not too surprised to hear that, because otherwise this anime is a wild mystery.
Why does this exist? Anyway, you good with that one?
I surely have nothing to add.
Talking about nothing to add, Catch Me at the Ballpark.
Yeah, I didn't, sorry. Borupaku de Tsukamete. Tsukamete. Gotcha.
Yeah, this is a comedy anthology series made up of 8-minute shorts about life working at a ballpark, and basically centering on a cute gyaru who works selling beer.
I didn't join Talen for this one because I hate beer and I hate baseball.
Yeah.
So I left this one for him. How'd you find it?
It good enough to get through 2.5 episodes, but not actually deeply engaging. It's fine. It's a light, fluffy comedy for people who like baseball and cold beer and funny jokes and really want a hot girl to be mean to them. And amongst my friends, that's a pretty big overlap.
Man, I expected it to get more episodes out of you than Food for the Soul, at least.
Well, they're 8 minutes. So when I say...
I guess it did get more episodes in that sense.
Yeah, when I say 2 episodes, I mean I watched...
like 8 stories.
12 stories, yeah. And it's fine. It's also very light, very no contact kind of stuff. And like the thing that this kind of series will do, that will catch me and hold me, is not cute girls and funny relationships. What will get me and hold me is banger OP, banger ED, and show me all sorts of infrastructural economics.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. You mentioned the songs and I was like, no, that's not what I came for.
First episode...
This is the mark of a true pervert. I want to see your infrastructure.
The first episode does a really good job of it, where it talks about the types of things they have to carry, and they actually use like an RPG stat screen kind of layout of like, I've got to carry this in this slot and this in this slot, and this. That's cool. And that led to me and a friend looking up the equipment and finding the store of like, oh wow, I guess Camel Pack's the only game in town for this kind of thing. How much can they hold it? 20 kilos of cold beer at a time. That's really interesting.
Man, Talen, they got you like a tractor designer.
Yeah, and then by the third, and like the second episode has a conversation around baseball statistics being used out of context, and that's kind of interesting. The third one is about the wife of a baseball player, mad that other people don't support her husband more because she's really afraid that she's like jinxed him by getting married, and he's like, oh no, he's gonna have a slump now, and she hears old men going, he got married, he's gonna have a slump now, and
fuck you, old man.
And then she like appeals to the gyaru of like, can't you back me up on this one, isn't he still got it? And then she's like, I don't know anything about fucking baseball because this is just my job. What can I quote from someone else? It's fun, but also the second I stop watching it, I don't need to watch anymore. It's not very deeply engaging.
This is the kind of thing you might watch more of next time you're bored.
Honestly, if this one has a good dub, I probably would watch all of it. But this is not first screen content.
Gotcha. I understand that.
This is you know the thing that people thought Steven Universe was when they were like, oh, they're 10-minute episodes. Yeah. Like a Looney Tunes cartoon. That's what we're talking about here. It's not a complicated one. I certainly and I appreciate the way that it breaks it up into mini episodes inside the episodes, so that you're not wasting your time watching a show do fucking nothing for 20 minutes.
It's really the kind of thing that feels like it should be on. Well, I mean, I guess it is on streaming platforms, but like, I want like that kind of thing mixed in on your video feed.
Yeah.
When you're watching other shit of a morning, like, you know, there's a 10-minute video where a guy you like disassembles a retro camcorder, and then there's an episode of this where a thing happens for 5 minutes and things are cute.
Yeah. Also, the ending is a bop. The ending of this is really good.
Oh, that's the one with the cute animation where I was like, is that based on baseball mascots?
I was going to say, like, the animation style for the ending is so good. I can understand why you couldn't do a whole show like that. I kind of wish you'd try.
Well, that definitely wouldn't get the audience who are here for this girl.
Yeah. Anyway,
because like she's obviously no small part of the appeal here.
Oh yeah, and there's like a whole gaggle of them. There's like 5 different girls who all have different personalities and different approaches and blah blah blah.
Hey, it's not quite a horror. It's not like there's one girl and if you don't like her, you don't need to be here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm 2 episodes deep and I've already met like 12 characters. This one doesn't really slow down. But speaking of wasting my fucking time.
Oh, I know what's up next then. Oh! Vicious mockery. I definitely thought he was talking about Zatsu-Tabi.
No.
Rude.
No.
No one forced you to watch this, Talen.
No. Look, Mono is, of the 3 things in this category this season, it's probably the best one. But I wasn't in the mood for it anyway.
Of the cute girls doing cute thing shows, I dropped 2 of them after the 2nd episode. And I watched Mono all the way through, because it was the only one where I thought the designs were actually cute. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that's because Eurocamp has infected my brain.
Yep. Mono...
And I instinctively recognized the same author's art style over again.
Yeah, Mono is a 4-coma series by Afro that has been running since 2017 and is still happening. It's a manga about the most beleaguered person in the world, which is to say a manga artist.
Hey, it's ostensibly about those 3 high school girls.
It's not about those 3 high school girls.
And they're pretty dull, to be honest.
It is about the poor, suffering mangaka and her attempts to milk the people around her for things that she can draw because her job is so overwhelmingly difficult.
And the slightly fucked up relationship between her and her hot motorbike friend who's doing the exact same thing to her.
Yeah.
She's made a career out of helmet cam.
Yep.
On her motorbike.
It is, look, if it turned out that this was made by a camera company, I would be less surprised. There is a lot of product placement, but it's not product placement because all the products are exquisitely detailed bland names.
I was going to say I would be surprised, but only because they spend an astonishingly small amount of this using cameras. Like, the pitch for this is they are a photography club that's going to get shut down because their senior members leave, and the junior members never really cared about photography. They only cared about the senior members.
Yeah.
It's a little gay.
Yep.
It's
very gay.
It's gay.
It's gay.
It's just gay.
It's just gay. But like,
so they merge with a cinema club girl.
It's gay, but not in any way that will make it interesting or exciting.
It is overtly and unambiguously gay in the setup.
Yeah.
And then because the senior character is gone,
it
will never come up again.
It is the gayness of a world where the artist doesn't want to draw a boy.
Yeah. By the way, they're gay, but also I don't care about that. That's not what we're here for.
Who cares about gayness? I'm here to draw mochi and curry. What, is this the food anime? No, I'm making the camera anime, but I'm here to draw food and curry.
Now we have to travel all over this province to go and try interesting foods. Is this the travel anime? No, this is the photography anime. It's absolutely dollar shop Eurocamp in that it is doing essentially the same thing, but not as well.
Yeah.
None of the characters are as likable, except for Motorbike Girl, who's wicked hot and would have deformed my brain if I'd met her as a child.
Her name, by the way, is Kako.
Sure. Yeah, this is another one where I struggle to remember anyone's name. Sorry, girls. One of you should have been Nadeshko if you wanted me to remember your names.
So you don't remember Torio?
No, which one's that?
She's the lollygoth who makes Ghosts Are Real.
I hate her. That's my other problem with this. Like, entirely too many of the episodes involve another mangaka who specializes in horror and has like a full lollygoth aesthetic even when she's going hiking for the day, which just drives me out the fucking wall. And by her presence in the show very strongly implies that ghosts are real, and at the same time shills for bullshit ghost catching kind of equipment. Like,
Yeah.
she's the kind of person who'd... Like, she wouldn't sell you a spirit radio herself. She would just recommend a reputable brand for spirit radios.
With an Amazon affiliate link.
Definitely worked for her studio. Yeah, God, I don't like her at all. She's actively peddling bullshit that takes advantage of superstition and Anyway, you also get cameos from a bunch of Eurocamp characters, so Talen...
Those were fun.
...likes to pretend that this means I have to accept ghosts are real in Eurocamp, but I don't, and I won't, and he can't make me.
No, I can't make you.
Anyway, yeah, I would have been surprised if it was for a camera company, because they barely use cameras, but they sure do a lot of traveling around the province of, what is it, Yokohama?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the same place Eurocamp is, but they're doing it in summer. So it's totally different from Eurocamp, and just coincidentally not nearly as cute, because no one's wearing, like, big parkas and cute boots and scarves and shit.
Yeah, it is an embarrassing example. Like, I think the thing I like about this show is that it shows that there is actually something special about Eurocamp. It isn't enough that Eurocamp is... like, existent. It's not just like a formula. Eurocamp actually has distinct characters and distinct chemistry that makes them fun to hang around. Because this is almost all the same shit from almost the same source, and it is tedious.
But I don't find it tedious. I find Ghost Girl tedious, but like I like this all right. I don't think it was bad. No. If I'd never seen Eurocamp, this might be my favorite cute girls doing cute things show, because I don't really like a lot of those.
No.
But when I have a Strictly Better thing to compare it against, it's just not that great. They'd done a whole show about the dopey mangaka and her hot motorbike friend, and there weren't any high schoolers around. That would be really exciting to me. And also, they never saw the fucking paranormal shell friend. But that's not what it's here for. And I have to assume that there's a powerful amount of, like, tourism influence here, because most of what they do, a lot like Eurocamp, is go to places around this province and tell you why they're exciting, and tell you about their unique culture, and tell you about all the specialty foods you can buy, and what season you can buy them in, and where you can find them, and the events that the local shops do to get you interested in them, and, like, it's a never-ending list of tourism stuff, basically.
Yeah. It lives alongside Onitsura and Hokkaido gals of, like...
Okitsuru.
Yeah. My bad. Of, behold, we're gonna go...
Yeah.
You know, we want you to go look at this other thing.
That's not bad. But it's just a slightly downgraded version of Eurocamp the whole time. The dialogue's not as funny. Eurocamp has these really cute phone conversations between characters a lot of the time, and I like their sense of humor and the jokes they make to each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't... Like, it's not like any other shows that I've seen. I really like that about it, and this is just sort of that, but without any of the uniqueness a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There's a cat who's kind of neat. It's that big, fat, angry cat who, like, fucks up other cats and travels across the country of his own accord. It's a fun cat.
It's going to the big city.
Perfectly good cat. And then the second last episode, they decide to make a found footage horror movie.
Yeah. They did that.
They did that. And it was all spooky, but don't worry, it was just a prank because ghosts aren't real, except for how earlier we said they were real.
Ghosts are real.
Anyway, want to buy a spirit plasma purifier for several $100s? Buy them for all your friends. Alright, I'm done.
Speaking of disappointing...
Oh, yes.
My Hero Academia Vigilantes, or...
Vigilante, Boku no Hero Academia Irigaru.
Yeah, it is a anime of the manga that is a spin-off of the manga by Hideyuki Furuhashi, set in the universe of My Hero Academia by Kohei Hirokoshi, and it doesn't matter who actually is responsible for this, because they shouldn't be allowed.
You're really... Reviewing these is really making me aware of how much everything I had high hopes for disappointed me.
Yep.
And everything where I went in not expecting much, I got better than I expected.
This season has been a bit of an inversion for you.
Yeah. It's wild. I feel very uncertain of my judgment.
5 years before the start of My Hero Academia, this story is set nearby but not immediately in the same area, where you have some guy named Koichi who has a slightly shit quirk deciding that he's not going to let the fact that he's useless stop him from being a superhero. So he, along with someone who doesn't want to be here and a homeless man, team up to try and fight crime as superheroes in a universe that doesn't know what crime is, doesn't know what superheroes are, and doesn't know how to represent a fight.
It should be such a fun pitch to do against the backdrop of a world where superheroing is a shitty commercialized, public performance kind of career thing. To have like, hey, you're Talen. One of your things is, I like the slightly shit versions of things.
Yes.
This should be a compelling pitch for you. A slightly shit superpower, a second slightly shit superpower, and a dangerously violent hobo. That should be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this isn't written by the original author.
No, so it has every chance to not be complete dog shit.
So I really thought, all right, cool. We're taking an interesting premise that resulted in a very disappointing anime, because the person who did it is bad at superheroes. So maybe this will be someone else taking that set. This will be a Gun Gale, maybe. This will be a good author taking a setting in which a shit story happened and using it to tell a good story.
Yep.
But it wasn't.
No, this is pants. This is My Hero Academia media, which is to say it suffers from all of the original sins of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
But not in the way that the setting would require. You don't have anything in setting in My Hero Academia that says that women are secondary characters and objects. You don't have anything in the actual lore of My Hero Academia that indicates that the fundamental nature of all stories have to be about a guy who has a need that a woman around him needs to fulfill. There is nothing about the setting that requires that. This is a choice that these authors have made repeatedly, and it is fucking horrifying.
There's also nothing about the setting that says every character who sexually assaults a woman has to come back for a fucking encore. And particularly that they have to be made sympathetic during their encore run.
Yep.
And everyone just kind of forgives them for sexually assaulting a woman.
The villain in this arc sticks bees in a girl's vagina. I cannot understate this. This is a thing that is done because it lets her trap someone with a vaguely sexual gesture that she doesn't need to do.
Yeah, like it exists for 3 seconds as just like, oh no, she wouldn't put them there, would she?
Oh no, she did. Except it's not a she did. It's a they did. It's a he did. It's a bug. And
I don't know. I mean, I still kind of... It's such a femme-coded power that I felt like it might still be a girl at the top of it.
Yeah.
It's like having a hive of bees is such a... No one puts that on a guy.
Look, the spoilers for the manga, the character in question has other hosts.
Yeah.
And the hosts tend to be girls.
We've seen another host.
But outside of the host, they get referred to gender neutrally. Because women are objects.
Boy, they are.
And all power derives from the same fundamental superstructure, which is to say everyone who can do good is either beholden to or deriving that power from the way Japan represents its state. Knuckle Dust is... Wait. Hey, in the anime, Fox, do you know anything about Knuckle Dust's backstory beyond his children?
The only thing we've gotten in the course of this series that we watched is that one of the important characters turns out to be his daughter, and his wife is in the hospital, possibly dead in the last episode. It's ambiguous whether she's alive or not.
Okay, I'm going to step myself back from the edge of
Okay.
complaining about the Vigilantes manga and just continue with the series.
Yeah. Say about the manga. There's plenty to complain about in the series.
Yeah, this is a series where...
like how Pop is here, and she's one of our 3 main characters.
Pop is such a delight of a character.
She's
Why can't they
great.
do anything with her?
She's a great concept. I like her personality. I respect her choices. It's garbage that she is made to feel self-conscious about sexualizing herself because the show repeatedly has guys come up to her and make her feel bad about it.
Uh-huh.
When, like, previously she was just doing what she fucking wanted to do.
She gets well, there's no two ways about it. If someone comes up to you and physically gropes at you, that's sexual assault.
She gets sexually assaulted like 4 times.
Yeah, I can think of 4 different times it happens. It's a
Sure, just will not stop doing it because it cannot think of anything better to do in most scenes than to have one of the 3 superhero characters who is coincidentally the girl who is coincidentally the sexy one be imperiled in some way. Usually, I mean, there's about a 50% chance it'll be sexualized peril.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just normal peril because she's the only fucking one of them who can't just, do some hero shit on her own when it's necessary.
To be fair, Koichi really can't either.
He gets bailed out
But-
on a semi-regular basis,
Yeah.
but he also gets to do shit and win things himself sometimes.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
Part of this is because she doesn't really get to do the hero stuff. Her part in this vigilante trio is that she phones the police for help and gives people instructions with a microphone. And
She's the girl.
It's just...
She's mum.
And it's... Like, it makes me really angry because it's valid that what she wants to do with her cute little superpower is just have a cute little indie idol life and do a fun thing. Like, it's not a combat power and she shouldn't feel obligated to use it
Yeah.
as such. But then why is she fucking here?
Yeah.
Right, because she's in love with our main character because he saved her when she was a child. By the way, she's in high school and he's like 23. Yay! Yay! We love it!
Welcome.
I was like, hey, they're not all in high school this time, so I guess we won't have to look at a high schooler's ass for the entire show. But no, they made sure that the girl is the one of them who's still in high school. And also, this other girl who is the guy's daughter, she's also in high school too.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you won't see her bra more than a couple of times.
Yeah, you will see her. You will see it. You'll
Absolutely,
definitely
you'll see it. Come on, what were you not going to see it? It's just fucking exhausting.
I hate this universe. I hate this franchise. And I hate what it has done to a generation of anime fans and superhero fans in that they think this is an example of good media.
I hate how incredible this looks and how beautiful.
I was going to move on to talking how amazingly animated it is.
Which is part of why it conned me into watching it,
Yeah.
aside from the general hope that a second author might do something worthwhile with the world. But like the distinctive line weighting that makes it look a bit more comic book, and the visual sound effects that are like
The way they pop,
beautifully
literally.
animated, and the aggressive use of screen tones, and it's so good to look at and so bad to experience the story of.
Yep.
There's a fucking scene towards the end where fucking Midnight, the stupid horny hero character.
The woman
is-
with the worst designed outfit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a scene towards the end. You can see her in this poster. Look at that bullshit she is wearing. It's like overtly a bondage outfit, except it's not because she's wearing like a full body beige body stocking underneath it, making it the least sexy costume you've ever seen. She is a stone dead turn off. And her whole thing is that she's supposed to be sexy. And there's a scene of her just having a meeting with someone in a boardroom where she's wearing a fucking suit and has her hair up like teacher style. It's like, that's the hottest thing I've ever seen in this universe.
Yeah.
Why is she dressed like the world's most incompetent stripper the rest of the time? That's really what she looks like. A stripper who's bad at her job and bad at being sexy.
She shows up and puts more things on.
Awful. This is a horrible design. Fucking get your shit together, man.
There are the bones of some great ideas here. You have a character whose quirk is the ability to determine if someone is lying while she's touching them. Which means, hypothetically, you could have a really cool investigative reporter-style character who's deducing information and solving a mystery.
Yeah, she's sort of a Lois Lane addition to this cast, and she is the only woman who gets out of this with any dignity intact.
But the thing is, she's not. She's the PR flack for a shitty dude, and the person doing the investigation is her brother instead. Which means this amazing
Good
thing...
point. Why is he the cop?
Well,
I mean, I don't want her to be a cop.
Because he was the cop in the first season. Sorry, in the first series. He's the character who will matter later in My Hero Academia. Knuckle Dust, the quirkless asterisk.
Oh no, there's an asterisk.
Yeah, the quirkless hero whose whole thing is I don't have special ability, so I have to use every dirty trick in the book. There are moments where he rules.
Yeah. He's such a good concept, and in a show that wrote a good story, he would be a fantastic thing to insert into this world.
He's even got some of the great, like, Batman traits of, like, I just plan one step ahead, and that's all I need to be ahead of almost everyone. So I have a backup story for why I'm here. I have prepared information to keep you two out of trouble. That rules. I love that. Please stop smoking around the teenage girl who's asked you to stop in a small, closed environment, you freaking hobo.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
All like, oh, she's inconveniencing me as well. Yeah, but you're giving her cancer. Shut the fuck up and get outside, old man.
Yeah, it's maddening because the show will do things that are momentarily cool, and then you have to look at them and then have the follow-on thought of, hang on, why wasn't this happening earlier? Or why is this happening now? Or why aren't you recruiting that guy? And all of these things are frustrating. Killian, the villain, the bee. The pile of bees.
They have a name?
Yeah. They're cool. That's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
The
as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's such a Talon idea.
The swarm, the hive.
Uh-huh.
And indeed, the villain going around and just invading homes, killing everyone, and living there for a while because no one would suspect them. That's a good, creepy thing. That's a good villain thing.
Oh, yeah, also, fuck this show continually telling us that people get one superpower.
Yeah.
And then going, yeah, and this idiot...
Captain Celebrity.
Commercial hero guy who's obviously here to just be an annoying prick. Well, we needed him to have Superman's power set to do what he wants. So when we say his quirk is flight, what we mean is that quirk also includes the rest of Superman's shit.
Super fast, super strong.
Just... like, fucking... And then later on, somebody says, oh, it's a compound quirk of this and this. And I'm like, okay, so hang on, you can't have more than one. Why did they tell us that this guy has this one and that's what it does, but also just, he has all the other stuff. And they just a bunch of other fucking characters too, like that guy who's like, quirk, bat. Okay, why can he run as fast as the super speedster guy? Faster, in fact, it's the whole, like, that's the thing. That's what he's doing when we meet him, and then, like, only later does he turn into bat. And then you're like, quirk, bat. Well, hang on, what the fuck was going on before?
Well, what you'll see is, it's badly written shit.
Just mad. Just don't
also
establish stuff you're not going to live up to.
We also get a Razorhead show up, because what I really wanted is to be reminded of the school teacher who's okay with leaving a date rapist in his class.
Would you prefer, just a genuinely overtly abusive mother who beat her child so hard for using his quirk that all people in this world have that he basically forgot
she has a quirk
that he can do, leading to like a genuine underlying trauma for our main character that everyone just kind of bounces off like it's fucking nothing. She literally beat him so badly that he forgot he can fly. Mm-hmm. That's tragic.
And flying is a really good quirk. Have you seen what Captain Celebrity does?
He can probably Superman if he tries. I'm also annoyed that they never came up with the most basic implication of his slightly shit power, which is that he creates like a repulsion between himself and other things, and that's how he slides, right?
Yeah.
He could very obviously do that to deflect.
Yeah.
Like an attack.
Yep.
And he never thinks of this in like all the time. And all the training he does with this fucking beefcake Batman guy who's, like, supposed to be really smart and thinking up every creative way that you can use your shit to your quirk to get an advantage, and no one thinks of just, why don't you try doing that to my hand and see if you can make me slide instead of you?
It's a terrible show.
It's so thoughtless!
Yep. This thing sucks.
And also, Pop's here. Hi, Pop.
And Clay, right now you're saying, well, you shouldn't have tried to chew on that chicken nugget, to which I will say, shut up. I finished this series because I started this series, and every time you bring up chicken nuggets around me, I'm going to delay watching Tiger and Bunny one more week.
I like chicken nuggets.
I like chicken nuggets too. But this is how we banter.
You know what is unambiguously enjoyable about this? Ingenium.
Yeah.
The serious Magana guy's idiot older brother, who's everything you want him to be. He's just a big, dopey, nice dork with really stupid eyebrows.
Which is a thing that this show shows you, to then go, hey, yeah, we could be doing good superheroes, but we never did.
And then they immediately ruin it by, like, he forms this friendship with secret vigilante character while they're out jogging training together. And in that very same episode, he, like, you know, he gets into a scuffle and he's like, oh, that guy's power set looks familiar, but maybe I'll be cool about it and look the other way in an obviously, like, you know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, like, I know it's you, but you've earned my respect, so I'll allow you to go on doing your thing. And then our hero seriously fucking, like, looks down from the rooftop as this sequence is happening, pulls his mask down and is like, grin, wink! Oh my fucking god.
Oh dear.
They tell you multiple times that they need to be cautious about hiding their identities, and then they straight walk around town in their hero costumes and take their masks off every second fucking scene. It's maddening.
You've got to remember, in My Hero Academia, characters don't exist.
No.
There is no continuity. Nothing happens from moment to moment.
Knuckledust doesn't do that, I guess. I'll give him that he is actually protective of his identity, but not because that's something that a vigilante needs to be protective of, because we need to not have his wife and daughter recognize him.
Yeah.
For the plot altogether.
Yeah.
Which carries the continuing thread that the main series of Hero Aka had, which is like, no one's doing this because it's the right fucking thing. Every fight has to be fucking personal because they can't imagine stakes that are just, what if you saved someone or protected someone? It's always got to be, no, this villain's trying to kill you specifically because they hate you and now you have a thing with them. And it's like the antithesis of superhero shit.
It can't imagine the true heart of, to me, the true heart of the superhero fantasy, which is when given power, you find ways to give it away. Ultimately, all of this...
Which, given the pitch for Hero Aka's beginning, should be exactly what it's doing.
Yeah.
But it's just fucking not.
No. Fundamentally, Hero Aka is a high school series about being in high school, and therefore every single thing is about personal interactions, personal responsibility, and indeed the violation of norm. So you have characters where it's like, I'm doing something vigilante-ish by helping people. I am breaking the rules by helping people because there's a proper way to help people. It's horrible.
And that should bear out for the show as well, because one thing we are shown over and over again is that the official heroes in Hero Aka are there to fight villains, not to save people.
Yeah, they suck shit.
The vigilantes should be the ones who are helping people, not fighting guys. But they sure as shit spend almost, like, they do a lot of helping people in the background, but we're not shown that for the most part, because it's assumed to be not interesting to us because they're not fighting bad guys.
I want you to imagine a sequence that's just a conversation that we already have in the show between Knuckledust and Koichi, and they're just doing something, right? And while they're doing it, they're tearing up homeless spikes.
Oh, yeah, they could be helping people just while they're having conversations instead of sitting around in his fucking house all the time.
It's a terrible show. It's a terrible idea. Fundamentally, the Hero Aka universe is poisoned from the top down, and it will never result in something good until it works out the idea that women are people and that heroes are meant to do good. We done?
They're done.
Once upon a witch's death.
Arumajo ga Shinimade.
It's a anime based on the light novel series by Saka and illustrated by Chodofuji. It is about a witch named Meg Raspberry who finds out on her 17th birthday that she's going to die on her 18th birthday unless she solves 1,000 problems that get a 2-tier of happiness from every single person. And the anime is then not about that.
Yeah, this one lasted longer than a couple of the other series we watched. I can't remember if we made it was 6? Yeah. So about halfway through, which is, boy, I rarely drop something halfway through.
You're normally on the downhill slope at that point.
It was just really, I mean, it definitely had the food for the soul crime of I just don't like the art style very much.
Yep.
Like, the series has a sentimental tone to it and a like pretty storybook background and a weird fucking anachronistic English village with witches living in the corner and also people have smartphones kind of setting. Mm-hmm. And all of it sort of feels more prestigious and artistic than this character art.
Yeah.
And I constantly found myself feeling like, and particularly the costume design. I mean, she's just basically wearing a high school uniform.
No, she's basically wearing a specific uniform.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, she's gone to Wizard Tough School. Ah!
Yep. No, Meg Raspberry is designed to look like the common Japanese fan depiction of Hermione Granger. It's really specific.
Boy, oh boy. Well, that makes me like it even less. But yeah, setting that aside, there's the costuming in particular has a just wildly anachronistic variance between characters. Like, every witch looks like they're from a different fucking show. One of them is wearing a military uniform.
Yeah. And
she looks like she came out of one of those everyone's a 12-year-old military waifu gacha games.
Yep.
And one of them looks like the sexy drunk one from your 90s witch series. And also bizarre foot fetish stuff going on with that one. I don't like her very much. And like the mentor character looks like she looks like the one who actually belongs in the story that's being told. She, of all of them, looks like she belongs here.
She looks like Timu Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle.
But yeah, there is a cheapness about her that makes her look out of types with her surroundings. And this just eventually it sort of grated on me enough that I'm like, I don't need to stick around with this. It thinks it's making me feel sad and thoughtful. It thinks it's giving me melancholy, and it's mostly giving me aggro.
Mm-hmm. I have one thing to say about Once Upon a Witch's death. Mm-hmm. After which, I will move to the next slide and never think about this show again.
Oh, can I say something more then?
Which is why I wanted to make sure you had your chance.
Yeah, all right. Well, I didn't want to just be talking over you the whole time. I wanted to give you a chance.
But
if you've got one conclusive thing and it's got to be the finisher, then I just want to add also that the pacing of this is absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Like, we get a 100% concrete ticking clock in the first episode, and she goes to the lengths of saying, all right, I need to get this many, I need to make this many tear-jerking miracles every fucking day in order to not die.
1,000 in 1 year.
It's like 3 point something per day or something.
It's 2 point something per day.
Yeah. The point is, it's definitely more than one a day.
Yep.
And it's also more than 2.
Yep.
And then she sort of does that for 2 episodes, and then just fucks about.
Yep.
Just fucking fucks about. And then we thought we'd missed an episode.
Yes, we thought
there's one that opens
something.
and she's got like a third of the jar full or something. And the whole episode is about how she's become too cocky because she's gotten too good at making people
miraculously
cry tears
happy.
of miracle joy. And, like, she needs to learn a hard lesson where she goes back to respecting the people that she's helping instead of treating them like tear dispensers that she puts a sentimentality coin into. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting pitch. But you really needed to show her developing that confidence and maybe, I don't know, getting a few of those tears. Maybe doing some of that helping stuff. Because she is mostly fucked about. Making friends with, like, other fucking teenage witches for no particular reason and to no great ends. Just because you wanted to have another cute girl witch character. And she's not that cute. It's really weird. They also have a weird kind of lesbianism around her, which I have to assume it's a joke. She has like a sleazy old man mode where she's like hitting on other girls in like a really stereotypical masculine way. And her best friend in particular, like repeatedly. And at first it's like, well, I mean, she's just obviously interested in her friend. There's no mystery here. But then she sort of seems to do it like randomly, like a defense mechanism against making friends or being sincere or something. That's a weird flex, isn't it? That's a weird response to being guarded about your true feelings, is to joke that somebody should, you know, get drunk and sleep with you.
Yeah, it's pretty unhinged.
I mean, it's not as weird and out of nowhere as the foot stuff, but still weird.
All right, you ready?
Also, there's one episode that hinges entirely upon a guy who's a wolf and a lady who wants to fuck that wolf, and he's like, but I'm a wolf. Oh no, she won't want to fuck me. And she wants to fuck that wolf. And I think they cry. I can't remember. They probably cry.
Yeah, that one gets you two because it's two different people.
It's... Man. Ugh. It's not a good show. I see what it's trying to do, and it's not fucking doing it.
No, it's not.
Anyway, what were you going to say about it?
Meg Raspberry's voice actor is Yoshino Ayama, who is the voice of Bocce from Bocce the Rock. Shoshimin story!
Oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah!
This is the only thing that didn't wildly exceed or reverse my expectations.
Yep.
I mean, only because we watched the first season of it, and that's where the unexpected delight was.
Yeah, no,
this season was entirely expected delight, and it did not disappoint.
Shoshimin series is, this, because this is the second series of a thing we've already talked about, but to summarize, it's about a boy called Kabato and a girl called Osanai, and they are both on a quest to be ordinary high schoolers, and have an ordinary high school life after they had some trouble when they were younger, caused by the fact that they are both very clearly high-functioning autistics who are extremely into mystery solving and have a little bit of difficulty seeing people as people. In his case, this means he doesn't know why they react badly to him telling them their secrets that they thought they had kept hidden, and in her case, it means she just occasionally ruins someone's life when they piss her off a little. And they are delightful. It is beautiful as a show. It looks fucking incredible.
We watched the entire first series of this, and I was like, this is gorgeous, and I love it, and it's beautiful, and I just, drink it. And then only after hearing fucking Mother's Basement,
Jeff
Thew talk about it, did I notice that it was shot in cinema widescreen. Oh, fuck yeah, it is, isn't it? That's definitely part of the prestigious feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
God. Just went straight into my brain and bypassed the part where I thought about it.
And it's very hard to properly describe what this series is doing in a way that doesn't make it sound bad. Because this is a mystery series where you are going to see across... this is two mysteries in one 13-episode stretch, yeah? And it is slow. It is such a deliberately paced, carefully set story. And I could watch 3 more seasons of this. This is so very good at being exactly what it is.
There's a difference between a slowness where nothing happens and it's boring, and a slowness where nothing happens because it is indulging in the characters. And Shoshimin is very much the latter. It's you wouldn't want it to go any faster because you want to see every little detail about how these two fucking absolute normal brain weirdos engage with each other and think about the world around them, and all the, like, because it's so beautifully, so carefully animated, the, like, micro expressions and stuff like that, you know, a cheaper show simply could not do, which are crucial to your enjoyment of this. And this one gets to start off being, like, very coy about their relationship as well, because the first season ends with, ends on a sour note where basically...
a platonic breakup.
It's interesting, because they talk about it in this season as if they both later came to the realization that they were not platonic.
Yeah.
But they both didn't know it at the time, which, once again, I love the brains on these two idiots. They're perfect. I love them. But yeah, basically she used her brain smart powers on him, basically.
Yeah.
There was some manipulation, and it wasn't, like, malicious as such, but it was, like, basically she certainly did use him.
Yeah.
So he has, like, got a step away from her, and, you know, we're left sort of wondering how dangerous can she really be, because this is the first time we see her true colors. They keep us waiting for a whole season before they reveal that this is what she's really like. Fucking awesome.
It hints at you that you are watching something like Encyclopedia Brown, like a high school mystery solver, and then you find out, oh no, I'm watching, like, Sherlock Holmes. And then the third thing to drop is, oh, and she's Moriarty.
She's like Moriarty and Mycroft. And they opened this season with them not interacting basically at all, and with the very strong, like, the obvious, the so obvious you immediately suspect it must be a red herring, that she may very well be responsible for the incidents being demysteried in the first arc of this.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, it's fun to have the perspective shift. It's fun to see what she does to the people who invite her off. in a less direct sense, like in a less physical violence based kind of sense.
But also, what are the things that she doesn't let slide? And it's wonderful, because you'll watch so many anime where girls will put up with such indignities, and in the first season, it's like, what happens? You're like, oh my god, what could have possibly brought this on? And it's like, oh, that thing that pissed you, the viewer, off. And you then went, oh, well, I guess it's normal to put up with that kind of thing in Japan. That's what set me off. That was the thing. And in the second season, there's this moment where something similarly minor and, like, almost socially embarrassing rather than actually, like, harmful happens. And that's at the point where she goes, I'm going to ruin his life.
She's good. She's so good.
And he is adorable as well. There is a point in this series where the girl he's dating, because dating a girl makes you more ordinary,
that's a normal thing to do in high school,
points out to him that she's two-timing him with two other people, and asks him how he feels about that, and his response is, how should I feel about that? Because he doesn't know. At that point, she breaks up with him because, like, I was hoping to piss you off, but this is weird. I'm out.
I love that.
And he's, like,
scene.
smiling the whole scene.
Yeah, the whole scene, he has the exact same smile on his face.
I am the supportive boyfriend smile.
This is another case. Well, it's another case where the masterful animation is doing just volumes to elevate this, because, like, just looking at it, you understand that he has practiced this smile, that this is a crafted smile.
The novels use a term for this, which someone has translated on TV Tropes, by the way. So this could be full of bullshit, but on TV Tropes, they offer the translation of "put my normal face on."
Yeah. And it's, you know, had they compromised on the production of this, you wouldn't have that, and it might very well just become a slow show where people talk for a whole episode at a time and nothing changes except you get one additional clue. But because it is crafted so fantastically, it's enthralling.
I will also say, the first season, we did make a lot of fun of the fact that one of the mysteries was, but how did he heat the milk?
Oh, sure.
This season, the two mysteries are a lot more elaborate. Well, they're a lot more high stakes. They're a lot more reasonable things for someone to get obsessively interested in, and generally the result is a more compelling, faster version of the same story.
The second one is really two mysteries.
Yeah.
It's also a flashback.
Yeah, it's just top tier, amazing series. I loved it a lot. I never would have tried this if Fox hadn't grabbed it for whatever peculiar reason you did.
Too pretty, I want to see it.
Yeah, and it's worth it. Also, special mention to the opening and ending, which are not, strictly speaking, animation. They are mixed media.
That's true.
And they look incredible!
Also banger songs, once again.
Yeah.
Also, you may be able to tell from the poster, ongoing theme about sweets.
Yep.
And specifically, sweets as metaphors. And there are multiple scenes in this season where they pretty much just stare straight down the barrel of a camera explaining how a sweet works, going, do you get it? Do you get it? It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for me. Do you get it?
I am the chestnut.
So good. I love it.
The other thing I will just the final thing here before we move on.
Okay.
Is I want to read you the character description of Asane from the Wikipedia page. A female high school student at Funatu High School who has been Jogoro's friend since they were in junior high school. She likes sweets.
I mean, it's fair enough. You can't really give a lot more than that.
No, but I love it so much in the vein of you'd open a page on the X-Men and it would say, Magneto, an old friend of Xavier's from when they were younger.
Yes, no, I like it because it seems like the Wikipedia Osana would write about herself.
It is in fact exactly.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Did Osana write this?
Perfect, no.
It also notes that in the anime, his parents run a sweet shop, but not in the books.
Oh.
We good?
There you go.
We need to move on.
Yeah.
with our lives.
Oh, I could rave about this for hours. We must go. I couldn't possibly have another. Oh, another.
Another. Well, we have.
Do you get it? Do you get it?
We have another series that's a banger.
This one got me entirely by surprise.
It's called Witch Watch.
It's called Witch Watch.
It's about a girl called Nico, who's a witch, and she's coming to live with her old childhood friend Morihito, who's, technically speaking, kind of an Oni. And she's coming to stay with him because he's her familiar now, which he didn't get a say in. And his dad is like, you've got to do this because there's a prophecy. And he's like, a prophecy? And that doesn't matter for 12 episodes. Don't worry about it.
No. I just want to say, I think he does get a choice in it. And he's like, grumble, that sounds kind of like a pain in the ass. But as soon as it's like, and she might fucking die, he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, there's not actually something I care more about than you know, my friend being safe. So, yes, absolutely, unquestionably. Give me all the details. I will make a plan.
Yep. Witch Watch is based on the manga by Kenta Shinohara. It's in Shonen Jump. Look,
this is a Jump
This
series?
is in Jump.
Fuck me. So, like,
Do you know how good you have to be a girly pop comedy shoujo series in fucking Jump for 4 years?
This continues to surprise me.
It is 22 volumes long.
I came into this expecting this to be absolute trash.
Yeah.
And not, like, particularly good trash. I thought it was gonna be horny and stupid and be mostly based around belittling the girl character. For the benefit of everyone who likes to see girls be humiliated. And, you know, having everyone think he's just the bestest guy in the world despite being a very bland design.
Yeah, he is real bland.
And just, like, fucking none of that. Every turn, this was smarter than it needed to be, cuter than it needed to be, sweeter than it needed to be, more interesting than it needed to be, and Mori is actually great and cool and another fantastically normal-brained anime protagonist who I really enjoy. There's a fucking episode where she and her more normal, more childish friend, the blondie in the back, start a YouTube channel. And they're just kind of half-assing it because that's the kind of characters these two are. They're just here to have a fun time. They're not really taking anything too seriously, and they are bozos, both of them.
Absolute bozos.
And Mori comes into this, and you're like, oh, okay, so the gimmick is you guys are doing stupid shit, and he's gonna like try and tone it down because he's the serious one or whatever. And the gimmick of the episode is, in fact, if you guys are gonna do a YouTube channel, you have to do it properly. Here, I'm taking control of this.
I am the director
and I'm going to give
now.
you a proper channel logo and a proper icon and a proper episode plan, and let's get some real equipment.
I have a whiteboard
It's
because
so fun.
because Mori has a normal brain.
It's good.
In fact, we find out about Mori's normal brain in one of the episodes, where the whole point is she uses magic to work out what his actual mood is because he's normally very unexpressive. And it finds out that, oh, he has a rich inner life and constant emotional reactions. He just doesn't express them.
Yeah. He's just learned to, not emote at all.
Alright, so...
And also, for a show about, hey, magic shenanigans where every time I try to use magic for something, it will go wrong in a funny way. There's an astonishing amount of consent involved in this. Like, a lesser show would have been like, I will cast the emotion spell on Mori without his knowing, because I feel entitled to violate his boundaries in order to further my understanding of him. But instead she just asks him. She just asks him because she respects her fucking friends.
Because the story that's interesting is about what she finds out, not how do I keep it secret that I have found this out.
And, like, we do get some secret shenanigans as well, but they are, for the most part, unintentional secrets. Like, I accidentally got myself into a magical scenario where I am overhearing a conversation I'm not supposed to overhear, and I cannot actually do anything to escape from that situation. And, like, it's not high art, and it's not special and fantastic and my favorite show or anything, but it was just better in every way than I expected it was going to be. And I have to respect it for that.
How did you react watching the opening for the first time, Fox?
Oh,
what were your thoughts on the
right.
opening?
That's the other thing. So the show overall is, like, very mid-budget. Like, it's not pervasively cheap, but it's definitely straining at the edges of its limitations sometimes.
It is clearly saving a lot of money for the last episode, and they did leave it all on the floor. They did do that budgeting well. The last episode has a lot more action.
There's a couple of cool fight scenes.
Yep.
But it's still not, like, heavy Sakuga. Like, it's not, we had lots of money, we just saved it up. It's, we didn't have a lot of money, but we did well with what we had. Mm-hmm. But that first opening sequence is fucking gorgeous.
They got Yoasobi music to make a music video for, and oh my word, the variety and effort of animation for the opening is jaw-dropping.
I feel like the plan for that was entirely just like, this is our advertising, right? This song clip will be the show's advertising budget. We are just going to make it look fucking fantastic.
Well, this and the music video that Yoasobi is going to put on their music channel, and therefore all 3 minutes of that is an ad for our show as well.
Yeah, which actually doesn't include most of the best animation from the opening, which is really weird.
No, it's just got unique animation.
Yeah, it's kind of a cute little dance, but every time it's just struck by how good it was to look at.
Which watch is...
And, then the actual animation in the show would be kind of disappointing, but... And then there'd be another opening.
Which watch is charming, funny, sweet, and very cool. I liked it a lot. I like a lot of what they're doing. There is a problem that has cropped up in the series that is... Like, I've read ahead in the manga, So I already knew before I watched this show, like, oh, this is actually a pretty funny show. This will probably make a pretty funny show. I'll probably watch this, even if Fox doesn't. And there is a problem character we're now dealing with him, but he tones down a bit. And there are certain characters who I was hoping we'd get to see, who I figured we'd miss out on. They're going to be in the second core, whatever. The thing with this is, Witch Watch is made by a guy by the name of Kenta Shinohara. And this is an unfortunate thing where you're not going to recognize that name.
No.
But
I'm surprised to find out it's made by a guy, though, because it's, like, it skews very shoujo in terms of composition and lack of grotesque horniness that I would expect from a jump thing with a female main character.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Shinohara is 54.
Wow.
And this is a weekly. Now, he has mentioned part of how he gets to do this is that he has assistants
I'm sure he has, yeah.
busting the hump. Because what he does is he spends 5 days each week drawing just the characters of the story, and then he hands it to the assistants and they take care of the rest. And he has said, this is my last weekly series. I am physically unable to do another one.
Yeah, God.
Right? But
I got RSI already, and I'm only like 42.
Shinohara, two things that might illuminate things for anyone else listening. And Doc, pay attention. Shinohara's previous gig was working on Gintama.
Ah, okay, yeah. That sort of slides some stuff into perspective.
And his personal project, the other thing he did that was a long runner in Shonen Jump, was a series called Sket Dance. Sket Dance is about a group of high school bozos who make a high school club that's about helping everyone. The name Sket stands for Support, Kindness, Encouragement, and Troubleshoot. And they are made up of, typical shonen protagonist who would think this is a good idea boy. The smart guy who's just basically a nerd who likes his laptop. And they're heavy. Their heavy is a former hockey player who got bounced for being too rough. She is amazing. She doesn't look it. It's not going to deliver on the visuals that I've just given in your head.
Boo.
But in Witch Watch, you remember the sequence where they're all watching the TV and laughing at the comedians?
Is that what they're watching?
One of the characters mentions, "I'm here thanks to Sket Dance."
Wow.
Which is to say, this team of high schoolers encouraged someone so hard they got to go on the comedy show.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is someone who enjoys the general theme of subversive kindness.
Yes, this is someone who appears to have a pretty cool, general perspective on things. And that's also why we have never seen Nico's underwear. Which, that shouldn't be remarkable.
We do see bra.
Oh, sorry, yes, we see bra.
Bit.
We see the back of a bra.
But even that was astonishingly low-key for it. Like, it would be so easy for this to be sleazy.
There's so much horny magic in it.
The cat girl, who is definitely a little freak.
Yeah, she's a big freak.
There's
she's great, I love her so
some
much.
more horniness there, but it's not, believe me when I say that it's not enough to be off-putting, because I have a pretty low tolerance for just coincidental horniness in anime these days. I get really fucking angry at shows for just trying to slather the horny on everything. Just make an actual fucking smart series or get out of my way. So I think very well of this. I do not feel like it's treating any of its girls like shit. There's a slight theme of girls don't get to fight.
Yes.
But I understand that is somewhat remedied by later character introductions. None of them are in this so far, so don't get your hopes up for that.
Yeah, we don't get the witch whose magic is stored in her boobs, and we don't get the dragon girl.
I don't want to see the witch whose magic is stored in her boobs, frankly, but
I at least appreciate that she's like an adult woman.
Oh, that is nice. You know what? That is nice.
Meanwhile,
also, I am not here for wacky classroom
the student council
bullshit for the most part. Oh yeah, sorry. I could have done without them, frankly. What I was gonna say was I'm not usually here for like classroom shenanigans style of anime, but like in its funniest moments, this felt kind of like Cromartie.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know Cromartie, you might not understand that that is intended as a high compliment. It's not that funny all the time, but it was shockingly funny considering how little I expected of it. Even in the just classroom hijinks stuff that I was prepared for it to be very fucking tedious. Anyway, have fun!
Yeah. Now, how about the opposite of fun?
Oh! God, I forgot this existed.
Your Forma.
What if the Major from Ghost in the Shell was skinny and had no tits, but still had the coward's boob window going on for no apparent reason, had very little personality, and was in love with an android who also has very little personality.
Yeah,
But it did have a banger of an ending.
Yeah, this is based on a light novel series by Maruho Kikuchi and a manga by Yoshinori Kisaragi. And, oh no, I need to cough.
Oops. Oh well. Don't worry, I'll vamp. No one will notice at all.
Yeah, the anime of Your Forma is set in a slightly forward future situation where people have cyber implants which were originally developed to combat a global virus that's... Basically, COVID gave everyone cyber implants. And as a result, technology catapulted forward. We got realistic...
Where they got them?
Yeah, they don't mention that in this anime. You know why? Because this anime is adapting the second book.
Yeah, that was weird. It's like the third scene of the show and they're talking about this sordid past they have with each other and like, oh, it's good that you got over your hatred of this and that, and like, pardon, fuck?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Like, Your Forma is a mystery series set in a slightly cyberpunk setting. Fox wanted to drop it for for a standard reason, and I did not protest or care because it is a mystery story that is not interesting or mysterious, and it is focused on characters where the interesting things those characters could be doing, they are explicitly not doing. This is about a character who is the best cyber diver in the world, and we come into the story as she is banned from cyber diving.
Yeah, she like loses her abilities because of drug dependency or something.
Yeah, it is boring.
I suppose it's interesting to see a show like this address the fact that a cyber super cop could have like PTSD from work related incidents and stuff, and that's cool, I guess. But it kind of suffers a bit from the Gquuuux problem of we needed the establishment that she was good at her job and was competent and had some agency and stuff before we saw her go through a crisis of confidence and lose all her abilities and whatnot. And she mostly just sucks, and the story is primarily concerned with her really dull romance with an android. Like, obviously in the first book she hated and didn't trust him or something, and then in the second book she's obviously in love with him right from the start and trying to sort of justify and step around that, but I just don't care about either of them, and they fully dwell on it rather than much of the mystery stuff. It's clearly what the show is more interested in.
Yep.
And it's just not interesting. I dumped it episode 8, I think,
yeah.
because they basically telegraphed the idea that they might be going to kill the pet of one of the characters, and I said, show, if you kill the cat, I'm out. And they didn't kill the cat, so I watched another episode, and then they killed the cat.
Yeah.
So, I'm out!
Yep.
I have a zero tolerance for pet murder.
Look, any excuse that gets you out of something you don't want to be doing is worth it. And I know that you are at war with yourself at all times.
Yeah, I mean, this is also true. If it had been a better show, I might have been tempted to compromise on that. If it had been a really good show, if Kowloon had an unfortunate pet death in like the 10th episode, I probably would have stuck it out.
Yeah.
I would have needed to know.
Yeah.
But this... I mean, I didn't care about the mystery. I still don't care about the mystery. There's an episode in Lazarus where there is a cult,
Yeah.
basically, of they're not really anti-technology as such. They're described as Luddites at one point, but they also made a supercomputer AI to become a god. Like, that's the whole pitch for them.
It's their one exception.
Yeah.
They're basically
No smartphones, but God is a robot.
It's the Amish if the Amish gave a special exception for ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. And is treated as such and resolves as such. And that was the same position in the episode order as this show doing a series about doing an episode about an anti-technology effectively cult based around someone posting posting online propaganda essentially. But the problem is that in this show, the online propaganda is maybe you shouldn't give Google read-write permissions to your fucking brain.
Yeah.
Stop doing this shit. Literally, this business can pay to be recommended into your subconscious. This is fucked up.
Yeah.
And the story treats this as wholly unfounded and unreasonable. And that these people are very wrong for not wanting to have Google implant in their brains and to be rightfully advertised. They show you stuff early in this show where she literally has pop-ups in her vision.
Yeah.
Walking through a shopping center. And I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
So in the first novel, the whole thing is about the idea that a huge body of the population have come down with a controlling virus that gives people access to their base permissions and can, like, manipulate them.
Oh, interesting. Exactly what you'd worry about.
And it's because in those pop-ups, one of those pop-ups that you need to access and download to make it work is the virus. And it looks like an ad for shoes, and they figure no one will pay attention to that. They'll just clear it out of the way and leave it to do its work in their subconscious, where we've dumped it. And the people who are able to help and resist this are the people who installed, effectively, ad blockers on their brains.
Yay!
And that's all in the first novel. That this doesn't adapt.
So, presumably it's happened in this continuity, but also it's treated like it's fine and not a threat and no one needs to worry about this. And in fact, you're a dangerous radical if you worry about this.
Me.
You remember how I said Lazarus was, like, fun and cool and definitely doing what it wanted to do, but it was also stupid?
Yep.
This is deeply stupid by comparison to Lazarus.
Yeah.
And it thinks it is very smart.
This one feels like a real production mistake. Like,
yeah.
Why do you start adapting there? Well, it's probably because it's cheaper to do a whole bunch of conversation and you don't have to do cyber diving. Well, why are you doing it if you're not doing cyber diving? You know, whatever.
Cyber diving would be really easy to do. It's all fucking Mindscape woo-woo bullshit. Floating through fucking glowing clouds and stuff. You don't need to do anything.
The novels have been highly praised and well recommended.
Sure, I bet they have.
We good?
Yep.
Zatsu-Tabi. That's Journey.
Yeah, well, you remember how I said there were 3 cute girls doing cute things shows and I dropped 2 of them at the second episode? This is the other one.
This is a manga series written and illustrated by Kenta Ishizaka, and it's about a manga artist doing the hardest job in the world, which is trying to be making manga.
So it's like, it's even closer to Mono in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, like, it's another tourism anime, basically, where, like, she's a manga artist, but, she just feels a compelling need to travel for some reason, so she does, and that's Zatsu-Tabi.
Yep.
That's pretty much the entirety of the anything, and I also dumped it for just not having a very appealing art style to me. This particular way of drawing girls' faces really bothers me because they look like they're just about to sneeze all the fucking time. There's just something about the eye shape and the proportion around the nose and the mouth and everything. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you, but just every time I see them, I'm like, oh, bless you. It's frustrating. And also, the girls have pretty shit fashion sense. Like, Look at this outfit. This is not cute. Why is the hat sitting up like that? That's not how that would do.
You're asking me to care more about this than I even can.
Yeah.
Zatsu-Tabi was a series that builds itself on being about a chill experience of doing something cool that I can't do and I don't want to do. So why the fuck should I give a shit?
Also, it's very preoccupied with money, which was a bother to me. Like,
if you win a
I'm
million
going to watch an Iyashike thing...
I don't want to have to think about my budget.
I don't want to have to think... Yeah, like, that's a real concern. That is the main reason that I am not perpetually happy and secure. And I love my life. I would be very happy for things to be the way they are for a very long time. But the only thing that threatens this is just living in a capitalist reality. So yeah, I'd very much like to not fucking think about money. That's what every one of these isekai Yashike things does to me as well. Like, you know, fucking campfire cooking and all that shit. Just stop making it about money. You find nothing better to do with this idea than be like, and then the character got very rich.
Yeah, if you had 1 million yen, here's what you could do with it. I know what I could do with it.
Not that much.
It's a prize. It's a substantial prize.
Oh yeah, specifically in this show, that's the prize she has for like a newcomer award or whatever.
Yeah, and it's meant to be like this'll basically pay your expenses while you get on your feet. And she's like, what if I use it to travel?
Her editor actively suggests this to her, like maybe you could use your prize money to get inspiration. I'm like, bitch, that's supposed to be my living money. That's supposed to be my putting food in my body and continuing to exist money. Anyway, so that kind of sucks. I don't know if this was another like tourism influence thing, because the reliability with which they would go on a train journey and then tell you specifically how much it cost from which station to which station definitely made me go, hang on. Is this instructional? Is somebody paying for this? Anyway, so it was just the exact same thing as Mono did, but a bit worse, which was the exact same thing as Eurocamp did, but a little bit worse.
Yep.
So I stopped watching it because it wasn't good.
Yep.
Dun 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 dun.
No, not dun dun dun. That's another season.
Oh,
Windbreaker.
damn, there is a new season of that coming this time around, isn't there?
But before we get
you know what else is returning?
Windbreaker, season 2. We haven't watched this yet.
This one was, for some reason, very difficult to legally watch on a streaming service at the point where I legally watched everything else.
Yeah, but also, it's Windbreaker. I'm 5 volumes ahead at this point. Like, I am up to date with this manga. All right, I know what happens week to week in this manga. There's a part of me that's looking at this season and going, "Oh my god, this hasn't happened yet. This hasn't happened yet. This isn't yet." You know,
Who's that redhead?
That is the character about whom complicated conversations about pronouns will be had.
Oh, I'm going to be disappointed that they're not just a straight boy, a straight up boy, aren't I?
Well, you see, in Japanese, the personal pronoun.
Yeah.
Imagine
the elegance of a scenario where the only person who needs to determine a personal pronoun for a person is the person. Wouldn't that be grand?
So look, the character you're looking at there is Tsubakano, and Tsubakano is described in third-party narration as a he/him. And now I have to go grab the dog.
Talen's just gonna go collect the dog. I don't know to what degree the bonus Elli content is coming through on the microphone, but it's not as aggressive as it sounds. Don't worry. He and the neighbor dog just like to yell at each other sometimes. Nobody's in any danger. Hi, Elli. You're back. Good boy. And he's off.
He comes in all tail waggy and then stands by the pantry because he's like, "Look, I came inside when you called. Aren't I good?" And yes, he is good. And he will get a treat, but not until I'm done with this. And we're so close to the end, Elli. You've been so good. But no, the thing with Tsubakano is the nature of the kind of thing he is doing in Japan is ambiguated to the kinds of things we would assume he's doing in Australia or in America. And that means that I'm reluctant to simply say, he is X, because it's not using the same language. But on the other hand, like, look at him.
Yeah. This is like Yome calling Shohei he still when I am inclined towards they, but, you know, no one's saying.
Yeah. Do you remember the cool dad figure from the Furin gang? The guy in charge of it? Yeah. Tsubakuno's in love with him.
Oh, cool.
So, like, everything else aside, that is a thing that is happening.
Like all the other characters.
That's true. But Tsubakuno's open about it.
That's a fun show.
Yes. I haven't watched this yet. I didn't want to wait to watch this and then do this recording. But, like, I know this story. I know how these people execute on animating this. It will be fine.
You like the story, so unless they totally bottle the execution, there's no reason to think you won't have a good time.
Yeah, and like, the worst thing about Windbreaker is going to be engaging with Windbreaker fans about Tsubakuno. So, like, I don't know what to tell you. It's probably going to be fine.
Hi, Elli. You do deserve a treat. You're not wrong. You tell Talen he should give you one right now.
And with that, we come to the final thoughts slide. We did it! We got all the way through that monster season of anime.
Elli got his treat.
Elli got a treat.
Hooray! Do we have any final thoughts?
You don't have to watch most of what we did. I would recommend On Their Own Face. Kowloon, Generic Romance, and Shoshimin are very good at being what they are. Lazarus was fun. And like, that's kind of the core.
Next time you should definitely make this screen so there's like a pile on either side and one of them is in the bin.
Well, the thing is, to do that, I have to know ahead of time what you're going to think. And I don't want to go through this and...
You knew.
Like, you know...
This time around, you definitely knew.
I knew it was definitely in the bin.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of ditching on series this
yeah,
season.
See, I grew and developed as a person. I don't need to let my goblin brain get stuck in a rut where I have to finish watching something just because I started and there's more numbers.
Yeah.
I can be free.
And I would say this is a really good season in terms of the things are clear about what they're doing, and if you want what they're doing a good job of it.
Except Gorilla Girl.
Oh yeah,
which is neither.
Yeah, Gorilla. Yeah, the good
but everything else.
The good shows, the shows I would recommend. Like Witch Watch is like, if you watch the opening of Witch Watch, you're gonna know if you want to watch Witch Watch.
Even the shows that I wouldn't really recommend, though, for the most part, clear about what they're doing, and if you, unlike me, are in the market for that, you'll probably enjoy it. Like, if you look at Zatsu-Tabi or Food for the Soul and you go, I think those cute girls are cute, then it's probably going to give you everything you want out of a cute girls doing cute things show. Whereas Gorilla Girl, I hoped it appeared to be something other than what it was, and I hoped it would be better than its genealogy, and it simply was not.
Yeah.
We did cast an unusually wide net this
deliberately
season
so,
well.
I think.
Yeah, like I think we sort of agreed to give more stuff a chance than we normally would have. And we wound up with roughly the same amount of stuff that we actually enjoyed, as we usually do.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's some things that if we haven't tried them, we would be disappointed at this point. I almost didn't watch Kowloon Generic Romance, and it might be my favorite anime of the season.
Yeah. Similarly speaking, Apocalypse Hotel, I probably would have blanked on that.
That actually wasn't on my list to start with. I only put it on there because you had it marked down. I had looked at the preview and thought this is going to be, you know, self-indulgent, navel-gazing, self-pitying bullshit from people who think that suffering equates with depth. And I couldn't have been more wrong, and I'm delighted.
And, of course, Anne Shirley.
Yay.
Like, let's watch an anime adaptation of a 1908 children's novel.
I mean, I had to give that a go, because, I mean, that book could be about anything. Who's ever read that?
Yeah. Basically, those five, right? Like, Anne Shirley, maybe Witch Watch, Shoshimin, Kowloon, and
Apocalypse Hotel.
And Apocalypse Hotel. That's all you'd need to watch this season to get some really good stories.
Yep. Yeah, that's about right.
And bear in mind, that means I'm putting Lazarus, which is a very prestigious form of what it is, and a whole Gundam series on the...
It's fine. Look, those five, including Lazarus, is what I would just recommend fairly unqualifiedly.
Yeah. And
none of them are perfect, but they are definitely I think, uncomplicatedly good.
And I would also say Lazarus is a really good anime for people who aren't heavily into anime. Like, if you've got a friend who if you got that friend who watched Bebop on TV and Evangelion on TV when they were growing up, and they like that kind of stuff, it's a good one for them.
Yeah, that's kind of where it falls for me too. In that, like, I don't think I will look back on it all that fondly. In the same way that I think Cowboy Bebop is overrated. But part of its appeal is definitely that it's more approachable for a normie than a lot of anime is. And indeed, I don't know if this is correct or not, but it's my understanding from what I read about beforehand that it's actually like an American production.
Yes.
Yeah. So like
Adult Swim.
This is a deliberate choice that they made, yeah.
Yeah, Adult Swim are the company producing it.
Adult Swim wanted Cowboy Bebop to actually belong to them this time.
Yeah. And I'll just say, on the note of, Cowboy Bebop is overrated, my only argument with that would be I can't think of Cowboy Bebop without remembering Space Lion and Call Me. And,
no, hang on. The music from Cowboy Bebop is unfucking touchable.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's very hard to extract those things from one another.
I own its soundtrack. I don't own its series.
I own a physical CD of the remixes Yoko Kanno made that she couldn't fit in the show.
Whereas Lazarus is kind of the other way around. The soundtrack is fine.
Yeah.
But the show is probably a bit better.
Yeah.
But just, it's very normie. It's one of those shows where I'm like, you're not going to lose too much if you watch the dub, for example. I didn't love the dub, but
I wish the dub had had Sun Won Cho. Because he has so far made
he's good in everything.
Yeah, I've watched quite a few dubs with him in them now, and I really like his work. And it's a nice anchoring voice, because a lot of times dub actors don't get good direction. And if he's there, I'm like, they probably gave him good direction.
He also doesn't sort of blend into a sea of very samey voices, which isn't the fault of any individual voice actor, but there's a trend, particularly with anime dubbing of girl characters, where there is the anime girl voice, and a lot of actors do the anime girl voice.
Yeah.
And I hate the anime girl voice. I don't want to hear it ever again.
Yeah, there are literal vocal archetypes we don't have in English that anime struggles with. Indeed, we did watch some Lazarus dubbed episode, and Popcorn Wizard, you can't do her in English the way she is in Japanese. You've kind of got to invent a different character.
And she is a lot, so the performance understood that, but...
But being a lot in English involves a lot of commanding long stretches of attention, not cramming everything into a smaller stretch.
Yeah, and you know what? She just felt like someone who should have had a lot more slang, a lot more character voice going on.
Yeah.
They would have her say a hacker thing, and then it was oh, that's distinctively a her line. But then when the dialogue mattered, she would go back to just informational dialogue, and there was surely there's supposed to be more of a character here, but there's not in the words that are being said, so then the actor kind of has to compensate by just making the voice performance very, very, very full on. And
while we're throwing things around at Lazarus, well outside, as I'm hovering my finger over the end recording button.
Sorry, I'm in the weeds.
But Jill from Lazarus.
Oh, Jill rules. Love Jill.
Jill is great. We love Jill so much. Lazarus is worth it because it's a show that lets Jill happen, and Jill happens in multiple episodes, which is shocking and pleasant.
I was delighted to see her again.
All
she
right.
is, she might be my favorite thing about it, actually. She's definitely the hottest thing.
Thank you so much for spending this season watching anime with me. It was lots of fun.
Yeah. I had a great time. I hope we will have a lot more fun again. We have at least 2 shows that are just going to keep fucking going, so...
Yeah, and let me be clear. A couple of nights ago, I was, thunderously upset because I was putting this presentation together and going, oh my god, I can't believe I watched 12 episodes of Mono. Or Teogonia, oh my god. And I know I was a real grump. But this experience was lots of fun.
This is what we do it for.
And ultimately, if that means I've got to watch, 4 episodes of Food for the Soul... Yeah, right.
Hey, we both... I'm pretty sure we only went to 2 of Food for the Soul.
Maybe.
But, I mean, we suffered... There was a lot of mutual suffering at the beginning of this season.
And I think that's a good method. I do like the idea of we cast the net very wide and then we cull.
I mean, we mutually agreed when we got to, like, the second episode of Vigilante of, like, alright, we're both angry at this already.
Yeah.
But we both wish to continue with the hate watch.
Yes, it was a hate watch.
Yeah. And so, some things you do because you want to see them, and some things you do because you want to share an experience with someone you love.
Yeah, and Catch Me at the Ballpark, we decided, you're not going to watch that? I watched that. I also had a plan to do that with Rock as a Lady's Majesty, which I might go back to.
Modesty?
Sorry?
Modesty?
Modesty, not
Modesty,
Majesty.
I think. Yeah, that sounds right. I ain't here for that.
And there was another series which we were considering looking at that I'm not going to name, that we checked out. We had it on the list of let's go make sure we check that one out. And then Fox looking at it went, oh, this uses AI instead of in-betweeners.
That was the one, that was the one that was like a proactive attempt to include LLM shit in there. I'm like, nope.
Nah, we're done.
Bye.
And I guess...
Tractor propaganda might get us accidentally.
And also, I wanted to look at, but did not wind up looking at, Can a Boy-Girl Friendship Survive? Because that is apparently a rom-com about high-quality bozos. But also, I don't feel any need to be timely about that. We have a second season of My Dress-Up Darling coming. I don't need to struggle to find rom-coms right now.
For roms. Roms of all kinds, really. Like, romance anime has been strong for several years.
I hate how often I am mentioning it positively when talking about other anime, but Shikimori's not just a cutie. I practically watched that on a dare, and it has become, like, bedrock to my position of, like, well, no, rom-coms could be good in anime, actually.
Well, you'll have to let me know if that's any good if you eventually do watch it, because I heard that title and I fell asleep.
So here's the thing that's meant to make the pitch interesting. It is about a boy and a girl who are friends, who are trying to avoid catching feelings. Yep, there you go, yep. Now, what if they're both nuts?
Goblin.
Like, violent crime nuts.
Sounds like you should watch that fucking Yakuza one with the like, actually fucking violent crime nuts one.
I mean, I would watch that one if he was the slightest bit attractive. Because in the context of extremely toxic hot girls, she's pretty good. But also, she's a high schooler, so there's a part of me that's like, I would rather not. Anyway, shall we wrap things up and possibly roll you into bed?
Well, now we move on to final thoughts. The summer is looming! Talen! Nostalgia is a poison that will kill you!